period ended at midnight. They're located on the north-south motorway at Regency Park, South Road in Torrensville, Port Wakefield Road at Jepps Cross, Port Road in Hindmarsh, and the Southern Expressway in Darlington. Superintendent Darren Filkey from the Traffic Services Branch says mobile phones and cars don't mix.
I encourage every motorist in South Australia, do not use your phone while you're driving. It is so simple. Just don't do it.
The United States Central Bank has cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. The Federal Reserve has slashed rates by 0.5 percentage point, arguing inflation is moving sustainably towards 2%. The Port Faithful are headed to Sydney over the next 36 hours ahead of tomorrow night's prelim final against the Swans. But not everyone is going by air. There are lots of fans packing up the car today, opting for a road trip. The RAA's Charles Mountain says you need regular breaks and try to alternate drivers.
It is a long drive. Ideally, if you can, share the driving responsibility with someone else, and critically also to ensure that whoever's not driving also stays awake to keep the driver company as well, to ensure that they remain focused on the task of driving at all times as well.
About a third of all food in Australia is being wasted due to confusion about use-by dates and storage advice. A report from RMIT University suggests clearer, consistent and easy-to-read information is needed to address the issue. Associate Professor Lucas Parker says the numbers are concerning.
7.6 million tonnes of food is lost and wasted every year, which works out to about 300 kilos per person in the country every year. You know, that could be going to feed people, and also when we're throwing out food, it's wasting money and it's bad for the environment.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. It is selection night in the AFL, with Port Adelaide likely to bring in Charlie Dixon for tomorrow night's clash against Sydney. Defender Ryan Burton is also a chance to come in after recovering from a calf complaint. The Swans, meantime, are shrugging off their horror record against the Power. Sydney's lost its past 8 encounters, with Port stretching back to 2016. Midfielder Isaac Heaney, who's celebrating his 200th game, says the Swans aren't concerned with past results.
Each year you have a completely different team, so we don't look too far backwards. We look at what they do, and we won't let it play in our minds. We move on from it and know that our best is up there with the best, and there's plenty of belief within this group.
Let's get to soccer. Plenty of European Champions League action on this morning, with Scottish side Celtic looking on track for all 3 points in their first match of the campaign against Slovan Bratislava. Things getting going for the home side in the 17th minute from a corner.
Engels deliveries, another one down near post, and this time it's thundered in, and it's a brilliant finish from Liam Scales, their first Champions League goal of the season.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. They're now leading 3-1 with about 20 minutes to play. Elsewhere, Manchester City and Inter Milan are locked at 0-0. Well, a big night here in Adelaide with Australia's netballers, the Diamonds, set to take on England in a test match at the Entertainment Centre. And Australia's cricketers will take on England tonight in a match starting at 9 p.m. our time. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower 2 and 16 today. Tomorrow, showers 17. Likewise, Saturday, showers 17. Sunday, a shower 2, 18. Currently, it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
These days you can charge your phone, your watch, your laptop, your bike, even your car. Well, the day has finally come where you can charge your excavator. I know, you can charge your very own excavator, but only if it's a Volvo electric excavator. It's not noisy, it's pretty much silent, it's green, there's no emissions, and it'll leave you without a worry in the world. How good. Inquire today through Warren Mining for all your construction equipment needs. Warren Mining. Enjoy the sound of silence.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Spring has traditionally been the peak period for selling your home. As the temperature increases, so do the buyer numbers. But one thing that isn't rising is stock levels. This means there's even more demand for those properties that are on the market. Home values are at record highs and stock levels are at record lows. So there's a great chance to achieve a premium price for your home. With a team of unrivaled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results. Go to toop.com.au to find out more.
This is a winning season update for the Monopoly game at Macca's. Peel, scan and play today. That's how everyone is playing. for a 1 in 4 chance to win, and who can blame them with $753 million in prizes up for grabs this year?
Now, it's a huge prize pool. It includes 3 Isuzu MUX SUVs, TCL home entertainment packages, $10,000 worth of Amazon.com.au gift cards, or even free Maccas for a whole year.
Download the My Maccas app to play today. More updates to come. Ends October 22. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
It feels like finals this weekend. Adelaide wakes up with FIVEAA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on FIVEAA. Always Adelaide. This is FIVEAA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
8 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on FIVEAA Breakfast. We've been talking about the cold starts of the morning and the ice earlier this week. Well, today we're talking Ice House. Ivor Davies is going to join us after 8:30. Tickets go on sale today for a concert experience that I think is unlike anything else you're going to get to experience concert-wise in just about anywhere in Australia. It's on the river and it's going to happen at Mannum. The lineup is unbelievable, and we'll talk more about it a little bit later in the show. Huge news out of the United States. They've cut interest rates there for the first time in 4 years. We're going to be crossing to Tim Lester shortly. Does it say anything about the direction the Australian Reserve Bank is heading in? The US often leads the way on this this sort of stuff, so we'll talk more about that before 7 o'clock today. Matt Abraham will dissect the spin of the week, and of course, we have clue number 4 in our AFL Grand Final ticket competition coming up sometime between now and 9 o'clock. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Yeah, it's nice to actually be talking about a music festival that's happening as opposed to a music festival that's not happening. And, you know, you mentioned the reserve in the US. They're sort of been linked. 14 consecutive interest rate hikes in Australia is part of the explanation as to why things like Harvest Rocks Festival, Splendor in the Grass, Blues Fest, Groove in the Moonlight, a lot of other festivals have fallen by the wayside. And I know that, a lot of listeners would go, well, it's a bit of a fringe activity. It's not really a fringe activity when you think about it, and particularly when you think about it in the context of the lineup at Mannum in January, which is, very mainstream bands that were huge hits. Not sort of, niche bands. Songs like Great Southern Land, Electric Blue by Icehouse, they were like, massive hits in this country.
Well, and to the overall argument that you're making, if economic headwinds are causing the discontinuation of someone else's fringe activity, well, the same fringe activity that you're into is suffering from that as well.
Correct.
So at your coffee shop down at Port Adelaide, or whatever it might be that you do, the sorts of things that are causing these concerts to get cancelled are causing small businesses to close as well. Well, it is, as you say, quite rightly, it is all linked.
Yeah, and it's been really bad for the musos, particularly in the backdraft of COVID. But so with the Yanks, so they've dropped rates by what?
Half a 50 basis points. So
really,
so we would use basis points. It sounds a weird way of speaking, but that's just how it is.
0.5%.
But it's not half. They're not being, technically in a mathematical sense, they're not being dropped 0.5%. They're being dropped by 0.5 percentage point.
But what's the point? What is the point? A point of what? Isn't it still? Because the official cash rate
is expressed
and then
as a
what
percentage.
The banks charge you. People sort of try to put 2 and 2 together and say, well, if
they're meant
the
to be
cash
linked.
rate, yeah, although they never really are.
The significance of this out of the US isn't just that it's the first time it's happened in 4 years. It's that they've gone the full 0.5, so the full half a percentage point. The full, what we see in Australia typically when they go up or down is 25 basis points. the really interesting thing in the US was they do this. It's all the coverage is almost exactly the same as it is in Australia. They do the polling of 127 economists, and what do they think? Only 9 of the 127 economists thought they'd go the full 50 basis points.
Well,
the markets. This is a really interesting divergence. The markets, however, that is, the money game, people investing based on what they predict the Federal Reserve, their Reserve Bank, would do, said it would be 50. It was interesting, and it was notable too because it was the first time in just about forever that there was a dissenting board member in the US. One of the board members said it shouldn't be 50. All significant because it's the reverse.
That never happens in Australia, does it?
I don't think. Well, we have the minutes, so we get a sense if there's, been a robust discussion. But
but no one writes a dissenting report.
No one writes a dissenting report. That's right.
They can't agree on anything in America anymore.
So they all agreed they should be cut. It was just one of them, a woman who actually she sounds a lot like Michelle Bullock in terms of her concerns about sticky inflation and going too early and so forth.
So important question, because they used to say, as America does, Australia follows. Are we going to do it?
Yeah, the old if America sneezes, Australia catches a cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think this is the reverse of that. As America's economy starts to slow down, so does Australia's. So we'll see cuts. Yeah, I think this is consistent with the idea that early next year we see cuts in Australia.
Yeah.
In fact, it probably strengthens that case because of how
then Albo comes out and
cut.
Takes credit for the economic miracle and calls an election.
That's right. They've managed to. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I finally got the inflation genie back in the bottle.
Exactly right. That's what's going to happen.
Ask yourself the question: who do you trust to keep interest rates low?
You can write it now.
To quote the great man from 2004, just in case Terry's listening, I'm off the John Howard Duck at 6:14 today. How about that?
Just in case Terry's wondering, he doesn't need this information, but the Dutton's text line 0480 1395. Car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Duttons, they are easy to do business with.
One here from Mark in Greenwith. I'm heading to Melbourne 3 weekends in a row in November to watch bands. I'd rather stay here, though, and spend the money here. And one here from Mark in Para Hills. Sorry, where is it? No, this is from Wally the Walnut. This is lamenting the axing of the drive show on Triple M, which is... who's on it again? I'm not being smart, Alec.
Andrew Jarman, Greg Blewett,
Jars, of
Bernie
course.
Vince.
Yeah, Bernie Vince, Crows legend Bernie Vince and Greg Blewett, the cricketer. They're getting rid of it and putting in a national show instead, which will be James Brayshaw and friends. Wally says local radio slowly dying. Another station will get rid of their drive time at year's end. Don't you guys bugger off, enjoy your show. Well, we have no plans of buggering off.
No, that's right.
It is sad, and this isn't some gratuitous sort of attempt to make capital out of what's happening at Triple M. Because you see it in other workplaces. How often have people worked in businesses where, you had a local marketing person or you had a local accounting person, and suddenly companies go, we could actually run all this out of head office. But it's bad when it comes to culture and news, because
it's terrible.
The media's meant to be a reflection of the local community. So if you get guys who live in Sydney or Melbourne doing it, are they ever going to talk about what's going on with the Aldinga Sharks or Gazer or,
Well, we're not...
any other number of places where the grand final tickets might be hidden?
Exactly right. The media is exposed to the very same pressures that lead to campaigns that we like to champion all the time, like buy local, shop local.
Correct.
Because in the absence of you doing it, there won't be local. And
James Brayshaw's not going to do the undie drive for Hutt Street Centre.
Well, yeah.
And that's not a knock on him. He just can't because he doesn't know where it is.
Yeah.
In the same way we don't run the Melbourne Children's Hospital Easter weekend fundraiser because we're not the Herald Sun newspaper. It's all these little trickle-down things happen from things like this, and it's sad.
It most certainly is. 16 after 6. Apparently it's raining. Raining in places across Adelaide at the moment. If it's raining in your suburb right now, let us know. We'll just get a bit of a check of where it's at right now. But there will be rain on the way if it's not already raining at your place. A few people have already called in. Want to get some Dutton's text to get a sense of where it's at. 0480 1395 is the number. We're going to check the news headlines right after this break.
Join Gliderol in celebrating the Colorbond Steal the Show promotion. By purchasing a roller door or sectional door made from Colorbond steel from Gliderol, now or within the last 12 months, you could win $100,000. Visit gliderol.com.au today for a free measure and quote. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply. See colorbond.com/steal the show. 18 plus only. Strict purchase and eligibility criteria apply. Ends 30/11/24.
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
Now, when you're experiencing an injury or a health emergency, every minute counts. If your emergency can't wait, neither should you.
Calvary's been caring for South Australians since 1900, including at South Australia's newest hospital, Calvary Adelaide, home to the state's only 24-hour private emergency department.
So when you need fast expert treatment, they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable state-of-the-art facilities.
As a privately owned, non-government funded emergency department, an out-of-pocket fee means you're getting the highest level of care. When you or a loved one needs emergency care, trust in the emergency department at Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
If the bank's declined your business loan, no worries. Universal Finance make business loans easy. No financials required. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now. For lightning fast settlement, sometimes in just a matter of hours. See Universal Finance in Kent Town today. Or search Universal Finance right now. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
Salvo's Home Care South Australia provides holistic, personalised care to help older Australians live independently in their own homes. They can help with domestic assistance, nursing and personal care, transport and shopping assistance, social support and more. No entry fee, no exit fee, no basic daily care fee, just genuine care. Call 1300 111 227 to learn how Salvo's Home Care can assist you or your loved ones today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across NY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
19 minutes after 6 news headlines on this Thursday morning. Let's start with this. It's raining. It's raining in the city right now, and it's raining in the immediate suburbs around the city. Rostrevor has rain, according to a text here. Netley just had a real heavy downpour, then it stopped. Naomi says raining quite heavily here in Lockleys. Trev says it's raining on the most dangerous road in the world. Not the Bangladesh Airport Road, but yes, Marion Road. Thank you, Trev. We learnt that yesterday from the Amy report. Raining heavily in Eastwood and Parkside. Andrew says we've had a heavy shower in Glenelg for about 2 minutes. Raining in Burnside, says Vida. Raining in Ascot Park. Might be easy to start asking people where it's not raining.
I just got a text from Mark Aston. He's as funny as a fit. He says, absolutely teeming down in Goodwood. Now I know I should have slept inside.
And a good morning to you, Mark. Let's jump into the news headlines. We're into day 2 now, one of the more extraordinary stories we've ever covered on 5AA Breakfast, because there have been more explosions in Lebanon now. And this time, not pages, but walkie-talkies, killing 14 people, injuring more than 450 others. We've heard overnight from America's top diplomat, Antony Blinken, who says Washington had no prior knowledge of these attacks.
The United States did not know about, nor was it involved in these incidents. Broadly speaking, we've been very clear, and we remain very clear, about the importance of all parties avoiding any steps that could further escalate the conflict that we're trying to resolve in Gaza.
So just to be clear, this is a different incident. There were pages that exploded yesterday. Today, it's walkie-talkies.
One of the things reading about this yesterday afternoon at home is someone said the actual mechanics of it, like the technology of it, is not complicated at all. Bit of gunpowder and a current that can be remotely activated that makes the battery surge, and that's what sets off the military-grade explosive that's in there. So apparently it's like a sort of, first-year electronics project doing something like that. The really tricky bit is the espionage part of it.
Yep.
Like, how do they intercept them? How do they get them back into Hezbollah's hands? But, crikey, I mean, wasn't there a report, too, that some solar panels have blown up?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
I'll tell you what, imagine trying to run an electric store in Beirut at the moment. Everyone, in all seriousness, that's not a joke. Like, people would be absolutely paranoid, looking at their phones. You wonder how it's going to change conflicts from here on. Because people will look at this as a watershed moment in battle and go, this is really interesting.
Well, yeah, does this become the norm, or is this the only time in history it happens? Because from this point on, nobody has unchecked devices. Now, this is...
Yeah, but you look at the places where people source this, like Hamas, Hezbollah, they're getting it from, Paraguay and, all these murky parts of China, really dodgy parts of Africa. Well, they're not exactly famed for their due diligence in Ciudad del Este and places like that in Paraguay, where you can actually buy.
But you'd imagine these organisations now
will
be scanning and dismantling everything they buy.
Well, yeah, you'd think so.
You'd think. So this might be the only time in history this works.
You want to have a good tech guy, wouldn't you?
Just unfathomable. More details of that coming in over the course of the morning, so we'll talk more about it later. Police across the world have now arrested 51 people that are accused of using the Ghost app to facilitate serious and organised crime. 38 of them are currently in custody in Australia. 11 are in Ireland, 1 in Canada. 1 is a member of the Italian mafia. 1's been arrested here in Adelaide too. Europol Executive Director Catherine de Boll says it is a major breakthrough.
But today we are making it clear. No matter how advanced the technology, no matter how secure they think their communications are, we will find them.
The Ghost app was meant to be uncrackable. That's how it was sold to people in organised crime. There was no way it could be hacked. Well, turns out it could be hacked.
What about WhatsApp? Everyone assumes WhatsApp is safe.
It's encrypted both ways. Well, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know.
Pollies love using WhatsApp.
They do. They do. I mean, I'm guessing there's 2 answers to that question. In reality, it's probably uncrackable to everyone, but maybe, I don't know, the US government.
Yeah,
there's...
Or Mossad.
Or Mossad, for that matter. Police are investigating a stabbing at Crystalbrook last night. Police were called to Giles Street after 8 p.m. after reports a man had suffered multiple stab wounds to his torso. The 47-year-old man from the house went to hospital with critical injuries. About an hour later, a 53-year-old local man was arrested without incident, and he'll be charged with assault, causing serious harm.
Horrible.
We're going to have more international choices when it comes to flying in the coming months. Emirates will return to SA in October. China Southern returns in December. And Qantas, how about that? The national carrier could be an option.
Could be.
In 2025. The Premier has secured a meeting with Vanessa Hudson to discuss the possibility. We haven't had international Qantas flights into and out of Adelaide for more than a decade. Wouldn't that be nice? If the local Australian carrier saw a business model that works like other international carriers.
Malley was quite strong in his words about a year or so ago about Qantas having not demonstrating enough of a commitment to Adelaide. It would be, because at the moment, if you want to fly to Europe with Qantas, you have to go to Melbourne, Brisbane or Sydney first.
It's crazy.
And then, dogleg back across Australia again to go to Dubai or, I think they stop in Dubai, don't they, Qantas?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but it's just an extra flight, extra cost.
Time.
Yeah, total pain.
This is a news story just for you, David. This is time for you to cook here. It's not about hawks, but it is about animals. A UK zoo is celebrating the birth of a rare mountain bongo calf.
Bongo? They're those antelope-y things.
I knew you'd know. The female calf, called Navari, is the second bongo to be born at the Chester Zoo in the last 15 years. The bongo is Africa's rarest large mammal. Fewer than 100 are estimated to remain in the wild. Conservationists hope Navari's birth will help efforts to bring the mountain bongo back from the brink of extinction. We're looking at them now. They're
cute.
You're right. They look like they're brown with a white stripe across them. They're quite striking. Actually,
I'm just trying to do a check.
White face mark.
I think they've got bongos at Monate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know they've got the scimitar-horned oryx. Poor animal that had the misfortune of being born in Syria, so it's been ravaged by war. But hang on, here we go. Yeah, Happy World Bongo Day from Monate Safari Park 1 year ago. Yeah, they have got bongos.
Well, there you go. The world bongo population just grew, so it'll be a celebration at Monado and here. I think your phone might be playing a video.
Yeah, it's playing a bongo video.
One of your favourite bongo home videos is just playing.
How did that get on my phone?
16, the expected top today. Shower or two up to 2 mils of rain. A lot of that's already coming in. A lot of our listeners are telling us at the moment, rain here in the city, but also rain in the surrounding suburbs. There's going to be more rain on the way for the weekend. 17 tomorrow, 6 mils of rain potentially. Saturday up to 5 mils of rain and 17. All the days are kind of cool. Sunday 18 and whatever residual rain will come through then, and 3. Monday's the only day with no rain forecast. We'll get to a top of 20. Then Tuesday, 20 and up to 7 mils. Wednesday, 17 and up to 9. So it's going to be a wet 5 or 6 days ahead. Tom Wren's in the 5AA breakfast studio with us. The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty plus 3 years free servicing. Only at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Big day today and a big night, of course, tomorrow night. We know where the football teams come out tonight, so Rowan and Timmy G will have that covered. Look, I think it's pretty simple, really, with Charlie Dixon coming in for Todd Marshall. He'll have a fitness test, though, today at the SCG. They're flying out this morning. The Ryan Burton one's a little bit more interesting. There's a little bit more cloudy. You know, he's recovered from that calf complaint, but in and out of the side. Who does he come in for? So I think they're leaving it. Ken's usually quite forthright with his press conferences, but he's been a lot more guarded. And perhaps that's a bit of a case of it's earlier in the week as well. But we'll find out today. I mean, it's the biggest game of his career, isn't it?
So last week, didn't Charlie Dixon come out onto the field? Because Rowie and Tim were watching it live.
Yeah, he did a fitness test.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he walked off again, just shaking his head.
He had whooping cough. So
it was whooping cough. I thought it was just a rumour.
Well, no, I think it was. I think he's been...
Yeah, Sam Daddo's nodding as well.
Battling.
Sam, no, he was...
Yeah, very chesty.
all areas.
So I think he's been dealing with it for a couple of weeks. So, you know, that can be something that, you know, you lingers with you for quite a while. So... SCG, probably more suited to him than a ground like perhaps the MCG, you know, where it's a bit wider and...
Doesn't have to cover as much turf, does it?
Correct. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But huge game. I mean, it's massive, isn't it? So they fly out. We'll know tonight, and Rowie and Timmy G will bring those sides to us live.
So if there's no Dixon, though, and no Marshall, what happens? Is this the sort of, you know, brown paper and string forward line? We got Georgiades.
Yeah, and Radigalia, who's been pretty good, you know, bringing the ball to ground. So... Yeah, it's
going to be a fascinating game.
Really fascinating. They've won 8 in a row, dating back to 2016.
Sydney have any health concerns?
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Papley back, McInerney back.
Because they missed a few... I mean, the result was stunning here in Adelaide when Port beat them by, 84 points or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But they had a few out that night, I reckon.
They did, yeah. They had a couple out.
Not 90 points out, but still, it'll be a slightly different looking side to when they meet.
And clearly a different game, you know. So, yeah, huge contest. A little bit of netball tonight as well. So, good luck to all those going to the entertainment centre. Should be a ripper. It's on the back page today. The Diamonds up against the Roses. So, plenty of sport happening. And the NBL doing their gather round equivalent starts tonight. So, the 36ers... I'm fascinated to see how they go. New coach, new import, gun signing.
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell's been here for 15 minutes and he's straight into the action.
Yeah.
Coming off a knee. I think the bloke's clearly talented. He's a former Sixth Man of the Year in the NBA. He can play. The question is, how fit is he?
That's right.
So we'll find out very quickly. So will he, I guess.
Yep, it's going to be, really interesting. They play Sunday against the Kings over there in Perth.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 16 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
At least a dozen people have been killed and hundreds more are injured in a second wave of hardware attacks in Lebanon. Europe correspondent Jessica Millwood.
At least 14 people have been killed and 400 injured after walkie-talkies started exploding in Beirut and other areas of Lebanon. As the hours went on, reports came through that solar power systems and home intercoms were also detonating. The walkie-talkies are believed to have been purchased at the same time the pagers were that blew up yesterday. The theory being the supply chain was infiltrated and explosives rigged. Hezbollah is blaming Israel. The country is not commenting directly, but the Defence Minister has said that Israel is now entering a new phase in the war, turning their attention to the north.
A survey of Australia's domestic, family and sexual violence workforce will be handed to the federal government in mid-2026. It's hoped the research will help tackle current recruitment issues in the sector. Labor says more data is needed to improve the response to high rates of domestic violence. Police are vowing to bring down more criminal networks after efforts to dismantle an encrypted communication platform resulted in dozens of arrests. 9 countries worked together to bring down the platform known as Ghost. It's resulted in the arrest of 51 people, 38 of them in Australia. Europol's Deputy Chief Executive Director Jean-Pierre Lecouf says the operation represents their dedication and hard work in bringing criminals to justice.
It was about bringing together the right people with the right tools and the right expertise, ensuring that every aspect of this complex operation was covered.
The US Central Bank has cut rates for the first time since the pandemic. The Federal Reserve has slashed rates by half a percentage point, arguing inflation is moving towards a sustainable 2%. Chairman Jeremy Powell says it's a decision aimed at keeping the jobs market afloat amid rising unemployment in the United States.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to reduce the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by a half percentage point. This decision reflects our growing confidence that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength in the labour market can be maintained.
All roads will lead to Sydney for Port fans today and tomorrow, and some are literally hitting the road to see their team play the Swans in the prelim at the SCG. An alternative to inflated airfares is a road trip. The RAA's Charles Mountain wants fans to make it there and back safely.
It's the best part of a 15-hour drive if you are heading across for the match on Friday. Our advice is if you're going to do that, do your homework first in terms of how you're going to get there, but critically part of that is also ensuring that you're planning some rest breaks along the way.
The iconic Palais Hotel at Semaphore will remain in public hands after locals overwhelmingly urged the state government not to sell the heritage-listed beachside property. The government will now progress a new long-term lease for the popular hotel that will provide certainty to hoteliers Semaphore Palais Hotel Proprietary Limited, staff and local community. The Palais Hotel was built in 1922 during a boom in seaside recreation and tourism in South Australia. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will head to Sydney later this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's prelim final against the Swans. Forward Charlie Dixon is likely to return to the side, while defender Ryan Burton is also a chance to come back. Meantime, Geelong's Sean Manor could be the feel-good story this September. Eddie Summerfield reports.
It's been a long journey for Sean Manor ahead of Saturday's preliminary final at the MCG. From best on ground for Lavington in the 2019 Ovens and Murray League Premiership to a Norm Goss medal after booting 6 goals in last year's VFL Grand Final. The 27-year-old still pinching himself after watching his former Werribee teammates win through to this year's VFL Grand Final.
Probably didn't hit me until the weekend watching my old teammates go out there in the prelim final.
At 178 centimetres tall, the forward has kicked 12 goals in his past 6 games, an important part of Geelong's forward line, kicking 3 in the qualifying final win. Also feeling confident about their prospects against Brisbane on Saturday.
We're playing the best footy that we have all year right now, which is really nice.
And there was one game in the AFLW last night with Brisbane 47-point winners against the Bulldogs. Forward Taylor Smith led the way with an impressive 4-goal effort. Well, Australia's 3-match women's T20 series against New Zealand begins today in Mackay. It's the last hit-out before next month's World Cup in Dubai. Despite the showpiece event being just around the corner, Captain Alyssa Healy says the Aussies' main focus is breaking a 6-all series deadlock with the White Ferns.
We're not looking too far ahead. We're going to look at this series on its own, and most important for us is to put a 3-0 on that trophy over there and get Australia one more ahead.
And a frustrating morning in soccer for Manchester City with the European Champions League being held. They were held to a 0-0 draw against Inter Milan. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower 2 and 16 today. Tomorrow, showers 17. Saturday, likewise, showers and 17. Sunday, a shower 2 and 18. Currently, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7. If you're enjoying the rain this morning, just say a little quiet thank you to Craig in Salisbury East, who texted us on the Duttons text line, says, of course it rained I washed my truck. So thank you, Craig. The rains came on account of Craig's bad luck.
Jack in Hyde Park said the same thing. It's raining in Hyde Park, and that's because I left the bloody shirts on the line.
Robert says, bongos taste okay, but not as nice as Emperor penguins. Good on you, Rob. Thank you for that.
You've beaten me, Rob. I've got no recipes either for bongos or Emperor penguins.
I was really concerned for a moment that you had a sauce ready to go.
Yeah.
Keep them coming in. Dutton's Car Dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Dutton's, easy to do business with. It's movie time. Movies are better on the big screens at Wallace Cinemas. Mitch and Mount Barker no longer in the Piccadilly. Wallace.com.au. Morning to you, Luz.
Good morning.
Now, we're going to do something a little different this morning for the movie bowl, aren't we?
Yeah, the wheel still exists and it will be part of this morning.
The wheel will be part of this morning. But look, this is the People's Show.
This is by popular demand,
This is the People's segment.
Excellent.
And last week, without being spun up on the wheel, the people spoke.
Uncle Buck or something like that.
Hang on a second. Uncle Buck is superb.
All right.
The scene with Bill
Mario
Candy and the principal
Puzo.
alone.
I've never even heard of Uncle Buck.
Really?
Never.
Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Sorry, actually, I mucked it up when I heard the word Uncle Buck. I was like, that's my favourite movie.
There you go. Okay.
We've just had a message from our technology specialist, Damien, who's messaged me on Microsoft Teams saying Uncle Buck is a top movie.
Yeah.
That's 2 for Uncle Buck.
So I think Uncle Buck's making a surprise rearguard action here.
Well, it didn't come out in 1967.
Well, it's by popular demand. It's part of the category now. 3-3. Well, it's all going to come down to Debbie and Semaphore. Debbie, which movie's Lucy watching?
Well, first I want to say Uncle Buck. He's a classic. So if my husband Tony's watching, it's a classic.
Okay, so hang on. Debbie, hang on.
So in reaching to come up with a film that was terrible, David mentioned Uncle Buck, and the Uncle Buck people came out in force, which I'm a member of.
I wasn't so much saying it was terrible. I was saying that as a sort of classic of cinema, did it compare with, say, The Godfather?
Well, I think our listeners beg to differ on that.
Yeah, they will. Yes, frankly, it's even better. This is great.
So Uncle Buck will be one of the films you can vote on. We're going to spin the wheel to determine the other. So this is going to be a mismatch of eras and genres potentially. So we'll get Sam to give the wheel a bit of a spin now. Round she goes. So what? 1989 Uncle Buck came out in, by the way. Great movie, great year for films. Number 2, Lucy. What year is number 2?
1985.
Okay, so 4 years before Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
What's
Do you want to do the 2 films that are on here plus Uncle Buck? So it's a choice of 3.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, yep.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
Up against The Colour Purple.
Okay, Breakfast
Up
Club.
against Uncle Buck.
Colour Purple or Uncle Buck's. Someone who rings in gets a Wallace Cinemas family pass. So there are your 3 options. Colour Purple, Breakfast Club, Uncle Buck. Get calling now. 8223 0000. It's the people's segment.
You got a bit of everything there. You got your teen angst. You got your
Love me some teen angst.
shocking history of slavery, and then Uncle Buck.
Breakfast Club's the end of the film there.
Judd Nelson.
Don't you forget
about me.
I only know that song because it was on Pitch Perfect.
Yes, Pitch Perfect is very funny.
You would really like The Breakfast Club, Lise, although I've said that about other films, so maybe we should stop saying it. But
Yeah, what did you say about The Graduate? And then what did I give
well,
that?
there's no sort of, seduction by older women of younger men in it to trouble you.
So here's the options.
Or offend you.
Just to go through it again. Colour Purple, Uncle Buck, or Breakfast Club. Get calling right now, 8223 0000. The first triple header movie bowl that we've ever done. Let's go to Joe in Camden Park. Joe, good morning.
Morning. Pretty easy one there, Lucy. Uncle Buck, as I decided last week. And, yeah, it's fantastic. It got me into golf, got me into power tools. It's a fantastic movie for the family. And you'll absolutely love it. And if you don't shed a tear and a laugh at the same time, it's just a fantastic movie. And rest in peace, John Candy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Joe.
Let's go to Crafers. Troy, good morning.
Look at the board.
Morning, Uncle Buck, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the meaning of life in film.
It really is.
Thank
it
you,
really
Troy.
is. Lindy and Gawler, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Coloured Purple.
Thank you, Lindy.
Colour Purple. Thank you.
You might be an outlier in this one, Lindy. We'll see.
We'll see. Chris in Christie's Beach, good morning.
How you going, guys? Definitely The Breakfast Club. I personally didn't like it, but it was it was a generational movie for our age group. You look back on it now, and the things they did in the classroom you just couldn't do today. So and it had a great song. That song defined the 80s too.
Yeah, it stood the test of time. Nearly 40 years old. Next year, 40 years old.
Very thoughtful response, Chris.
Yeah. Chris in Ridgehaven, good morning.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the last caller and go to Breakfast Club as well. Great.
Ooh, yeah, it is a good one.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
Uncle
Chris.
Buck's tired at the moment.
Stephen Lightsview, good morning.
G'day, Uncle Buck. I love the way he tees off at the amorous teenager.
Oh, yeah, the boyfriend, Nat.
Thank you, Steve.
You've really researched this film, Will.
I've seen Uncle Buck many
See,
times.
usually I'm disappointing you, Dave. There might be an instance where I'm about to disappoint William over here.
Luce, I'm with you. I've never seen Uncle Buck.
I love this.
You've both got homework. Julie, good morning.
Good morning. Uncle Buck for sure. I've probably seen it 7 times. I love it when he flicks a 20-cent piece at the teacher.
That's one of the great scenes in film, Julie, I think. Yeah, the mean school principal gets her comeuppance. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, boys. Another one for Uncle Buck.
Thank you, Alex.
It's turning into a cakewalk.
Popular film back from 1989. Frank in Prospect, good morning.
Good morning, people. I like to vote for the Breakfast Club because that was, my life in high school, one of the students. So,
Well, there's been a fair bit of support for the Breakfast Club, but I don't think it's in a position where it can win.
So Colour Purple got 1, Breakfast Club got 3, Uncle Buck, is that 6 by my maths?
Yeah, I got 6.
5 or 6?
5, no, 5. I've got 5. Do we count all the calls from last week, do they?
Yeah, so that's about
We do-
10.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the Duttons text line is looking, it's got a real Buck flavour to it this morning. Who gets the Wallace family pass from
I'm
our
going
callers?
to give it to Joe. I think he started this whole Uncle Buck trend.
Yeah, I think so. So, Lucy, you can make yourself a giant pair of a stack of pancakes and watch Uncle Buck. That's going to be fun.
Michelle, interestingly, said Uncle Buck is the worst movie in history.
Well, I mean, that feels to me like hyperbole.
Xander Lee's the worst movie in history. Experts convened a panel and said that Xander Lee starring Nicolas Cage
really?
and Judge Reinhold is the
What
worst
about The
movie in
Room?
history. The Room.
Is it The Room?
Oh, The Room. But that's more sort of art house worst movie in cinema.
People need to, if you haven't are familiar with The Room, go on YouTube and look at the best clips from The Room. It is, and then go down the rabbit hole of reading about it. You won't be disappointed.
What's that actor's name again?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I watched about 20 minutes of it a year ago and just couldn't handle any more.
Oh, it's just phenomenal. Oh,
Great
Mark,
work,
I
Luce.
did not hit her. Luce, good work. That was tremendous. The Wallace
Hey,
Family
guys.
Pass 2 is excellent. And Joe, congratulations to you. You started something. Catch a movie this week at Mitcham, Piccadilly, Mount Barker and Noarlunga. For sessions, visit wallace.com.au. Let's check traffic. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. The odd passing shower, so look out for wet roads in a few spots this morning for the drive-in. And a car fire to keep in mind too this morning. That's at Noarlunga Downs, Main South Road in the Southern Expressway entry/exit area. Works at Jeps Cross, Grand Junction Road near Devlin Street, and Sluggish at Glenside for works to Green Hill Road near Port Rush Road. And with the camera this morning, Briar Road at Felixstowe. Bob Jane at T-Marts won't be beaten with their best tyre price guarantee, like Rodex tyres from a very low $59 for passenger cars and $128 for SUVs and 4x4s. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan.
30 years in business and proudly Aussie made. You'll always find the van for you under cover and in the shade. We've got the largest indoor showroom, so come and say g'day. Whether it's a caravan or RV, visit DBC today. So clear out the calendar and cancel all your plans, because there's never been a better time to visit Dave Benson Caravans.
Introducing the all-new Volvo electric excavator. It's quiet and has no emissions or exhaust, so it's perfect for confined spaces. The battery has 48 volts and it's got zero tail swing radius, whatever that means. 2.7 tonnes of brilliant bright yellow, but it's green environmentally, but it's yellow, quite literally. Inquire today through Warren Mining for all your electric excavation needs, but also all your construction equipment needs, because Warren Mining do it all.
Choosing the right lawn is easy at the Turf Farm. They're continually trialling and testing to see what works best in SA, because our dry summers and droughts can be brutal on lawns.
And look, the Turf Farm, they found a real gem. It's called Tiff Tuff. It's a hybrid Bermuda grass developed by the world's leading turf scientists. Tiff Tuff is drought-tolerant, wintergreen and extremely durable.
It's the only lawn to be formally recognised with the Smart Approved watermark, which is a new benchmark for drought tolerance in turf grass in Australia, and it has an amazing 50% shade tolerance. How good is that?
It's amazing. The Turf Farm team, they're the experts in beautiful lawns and happy customers. Check out their website, theturffarm.com.au. The Turf Farm, the lawn you'll love.
Ever had the feeling you're being watched online? Scammers are always looking for new ways to con you. They're criminals and they're clever. But Australian banks have joined forces in the war against them. Intelligence sharing between banks will identify new types of scams faster. A new payment system to ensure you pay the right person is being rolled out. Unique identity checks will defend against identity theft. And there'll be more double checks when you're paying someone new. Australian banks are working to protect you.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Twelve minutes to 7. The rain is coming down across Adelaide. How much more on the way? We'll find out now with Chris Kent from the Weather Bureau. Morning to you, Chris.
Good morning.
Do you reckon that'll be the bulk of it, or is there more to come later today?
Still some chance of some more later on. That's probably the heaviest we'll see, I think, today. The rest of it probably not going to... Well, I wouldn't expect it to be as heavy. Still some light showers, potentially. We've recorded 4 millimetres down at Noarlunga from some of the... or that shower, and then some overnight. And just recently in the city here, it's picked up about 0.8. So a little bit still in it. Expect... Still, a chance of some showers this afternoon, and continuing for over the next couple of days as well, as the southwest or the moist sort of southwesterly airstream continues moving over Adelaide. Looking at a maximum of 16 degrees today. Temperature-wise, not really changing too much over the next couple of days as well. 17 tomorrow, and on Saturday, things should start clearing up a little bit on Sunday though, as we head into the new week, and temperatures starting to warm up a little bit as well.
Good stuff, Chris. Thanks very much for that, mate. Chris Kent from the Weather Bureau.
All right, let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan joins us. Jen, we have had this feature in our news headlines half an hour ago. A man was stabbed at Crystal Brook.
Yes, he was. It was about 8 o'clock last night. Police and emergency services were called to Giles Street after reports the man had been stabbed. Now, when police arrived, they located a 47-year-old man who'd been stabbed several times. He was airlifted to Adelaide, where he remains in a critical condition. And swiftly, a 53-year-old man was arrested without incident. He's now been charged with attempt murder, and he's going to appear in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court today.
Jen, also, a high-range drink driver has crashed a car at Paradise.
Yeah, this was about 6:20 last night. We were called to Darley Road after a Kia SUV crashed into a Stobie pole. Now, police submitted the driver to a breath test, and she produced a reading of 0.208, which is more than 4 times the legal limit. But most concerning to us was, at the time, there was a young child in the vehicle, and thankfully they weren't injured, and neither was the driver. But she is a 37-year-old woman from Golden Grove. She's been reported for drink driving with a child on board and driving without due care.
I was going to ask. Sorry, Jen. I was going to ask. Yeah. So is it? There's an extra
specific
charge.
Offence.
Yeah.
Of having a child in a car. Yeah.
Mm.
And rightly so.
Correct.
You're not just putting yourself and other road users. You're now putting the innocent children involved.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That belong to you, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's right. Exactly. Unbelievable. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan there from SAPOL.
It's 9 minutes to 7. Huge economic story out of the US that will likely have ramifications here in Australia. The US Federal Reserve, their RBA essentially, has cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. Tim Lester from 7 News is covering the story in the US. Morning to you, Tim.
Morning, guys.
I guess the big surprise was they went with the full 50 basis point cut, not the 25.
Yes, it is almost, if you like, in the numbers, a concession that they're late to move, isn't it? there had been a bit of speculation that they might go to the full 0.51%, but they now have not the entire agreement on that they should have, but that's what they've done. First cut since early 2022 tells us now that the central banker to the world's biggest economy is firmly looking at trying to manage that economy into a soft landing without spiking unemployment as its number one aim, and the control of inflation slips back as an immediate aim. It's no longer the number one, and of course raises big questions because unlike European Union, New Zealand, Canada, UK, and now the Fed, our own Reserve Bank has not yet moved on rates.
Is the expectation in the US, Tim, that this is going to be the first in a couple or even a series of rate cuts?
Absolutely. Indications out of the bank today suggest that it might move by another 0.5% across the two remaining meetings that the Fed Reserve has this year, and then as many as 4 more cuts in the following year. So this is a pivot point, a firm moving trend, not a tinkering at the edges.
A few people have tried to draw a comparison, Tim, between making a 50-point basis cut now and what happened in 2007 with the GFC, saying, is it a sign that there's a recession on the way and the labour market's about to soften in a big way, which means thousands, if not millions, of people losing jobs? Is there real concern about that in the US at the moment, or are people thinking the soft landing's still a likely outcome?
Well, I think the conclusion is that in the mind of the Federal Reserve here is its past history in moving too gingerly, and then when it had the benefit of hindsight, going, "Ooh, we should have hit that harder." Certainly, there's a lot of appeal to that history, and when the central bank is appeared to mismanage the soft landing and the economy hit with the FUD, they're moving now quite firmly to make sure it doesn't happen in this case.
Tim, how important is the timing of this politically? Because obviously first Tuesday in November we've got the presidential elections. I know that Donald Trump has been critical in the past on occasions of the Federal Reserve. Do you think there's a risk? It looks like they've done, not that I'm saying that it was their intention, because they're independent, or they're meant to be independent, but does it look like they've done Harris a favour, perhaps?
I think completely, and it will get read that way. This is, of course, such a hyper-political environment here right now, and there's a good deal of discussion in that sense. And the discussion's made wider because Donald Trump has talked about, has made interventionist noises with regard to the Fed. That is, that he might be an interventionist president looking to put his fingers in the cookie jar in that sense with the Federal Reserve and exert some control. And that is worrying as well. So it's a political issue, if you like, on both sides. But certainly there are some of those who are saying, why has the Fed moved so late against other central banks around the world, not Australia's obviously, but others, and one of the explanations is that they're under political pressure from the Democrats to shift it closer to the vote.
Yeah. Fascinating. Well, I think all Alistair's care about is whether it's going to be copied here. Fingers crossed it is.
Yeah.
Great analysis, as always, Tim. Tim Lester there for 7 News in the US Bureau.
We're watching that very closely here in Australia because one of our stories after 7 o'clock this morning is going to be about the new entrance to the $1 Million House Club in Australia, in South Australia. And there's a stack of them. Stack of suburbs with a median house price now is over $1 million.
Great if you own them, not that good if you want to buy one of them.
No, you're trying to get into the marketplace, not great. It's terrific if it's your super, well, not your super, but effectively if it's your retirement plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're trying to get into the market, it's increasingly difficult.
It's going to get to the point here, like it has been in Sydney for years now, where unless you inherit property from your parents, you can't get in anything within QE of the centre of town. Like a first home buyer in Sydney, geographically, probably has to live closer to Goulburn No, I mean that seriously.
So just for our Adelaide listeners, how long does that take to get to the city? If you're living in Goulburn, if you're working in...
Goulburn's 2.5 hours away. Right. Oh, no, not that long. It's on the way to Canberra, where the big Merino is.
Yeah, right.
But what I'm saying is, like, you are way on the outskirts of Sydney. And you sort of wonder, like, thinking about places like Roseworthy or Seaford Meadows, like the new southernmost suburb of Seaford, where they've only just completed all that new housing where the expressway is being done up and completed at last. That they were probably among the cheaper new homes in Adelaide over the last 2 years. What are they going to be worth, though, in 5 years' time?
And for how long are they going to be the southernmost boundary?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you can almost say, I mean, there's a lot of land release at places like Yankalilla.
Yep. We'll talk more about that.
Tellington, you know, like the spread just goes on, and you know, if you're not lucky to have a parent who's got a paid off house that you end up with, and the way people live these days too, that's often. I'm not saying we're sort of all sitting around like vultures waiting for our parents to shuffle off this mortal coil, but the reality is you're probably not going to access that asset as their child.
No, you might get it when you turn 50 or 60.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah, you still need to find your own way in.
5AA News is coming up. More on that story and more right after this.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zig ZE310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Happy 70th birthday, Volkswagen. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen invites you to get in on the celebrations with a huge birthday sale on new and demo Volkswagens. School birthday savings right across the range. Timing is easy with immediate delivery and easy finance options. And it's easy to keep your Volkswagen running like a dream with convenient next-day servicing. Join the VW Club and test drive today. Happy 70th Volkswagen from Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Just a short drive from the city.
Now, we're only talking about SMEG products yesterday. If you're thinking of building or you're renovating your kitchen, you've got a lot of choices to make, but the first should always be SMEG. Now, you don't need to tell us about this. We've been in there. It's excellent. We have an amazing SMEG showroom here in Adelaide. Debney Distributors in Dudley Park, and inside, the full SMEG range on display.
They look good. They're very reliable with everything from ovens, cooktops, dishwashers and refrigerators to wine cellars, kettles, toasters and more. SMEG seamlessly pairs powerful performance with architectural design. They even do cooking demonstrations there. You can really taste the difference with SMEG.
Big shout out to Donzi. She's the chief cook and bottle washer with those wonderful cooking demos. SMEG, they've been proudly made in Italy since 1948 and their colour design and technology is world famous.
SMEG, technology with style. Visit the SMEG showroom today at Debney Distributors, Harrison Road, Dudley Park.
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
16 with a shower or two today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
Experts are warning an attack on Israel from Hezbollah is inevitable. This comes after 14 people have been killed and at least 300 injured during a second wave of hardware attacks in the Middle East. Former CIA operative Bob Baer has told Today the attack undermines Hezbollah's authority in the region.
What's extraordinary is Hezbollah didn't inspect these devices for exactly this sort of threat, because in the past Israel has used cell phones to kill people. They put explosives in them, 10 to 15 grams.
While Australia's unemployment rate is rising, South Australia's jobs market is among the best performing in the nation. The total number of job vacancies in South Australia is 21,500 according to the ABS. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says strong jobs growth is a key reason our state is ranked the best performing economy in the nation.
We know that as the nation's economy is slowing, having jobs available is really important, and once again South Australia is leading the way. Not only are we the best performing economy, but our jobs market is leading the way with the growth in the number of job vacancies available.
The United States Central Bank has cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. The Federal Reserve has slashed rates by 0.5 percentage point, arguing inflation is moving sustainably towards 2%. New data will be collected to take stock of Australia's domestic violence workforce. The survey, which has been commissioned by the federal government, was recommended by the Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence Commissioner. Michaela Cronin has found there isn't enough information available about the gaps in the DV workforce. Social Services Minister Amanda Rishworth says the survey will answer important questions.
What are the numbers? What are the qualifications and experience? How do we attract this workforce, which is so important, and retain this workforce? And importantly, what type of organisations do we have our family, domestic and sexual violence working in?
The mobile phone detection cameras across the metro area are now fully operational, which means a fine and the loss of 3 demerit points for drivers who do the wrong thing. Mel Usher reports.
$658. That's how much the expiation notice will be if you're busted by one of the 5 new mobile phone detection cameras in Adelaide. The 3-month grace period ended at midnight. They're located on the North-South motorway at Regency Park, South Road in Torrensville, Port Wakefield Road at Jepps Cross, Port Road in Hindmarsh and the Southern Expressway in Darlington. Mobile phones are a major distraction for motorists. Over the past 5 years, distraction has been linked to over 1,700 serious injuries and 199 lives lost on our roads.
About a third of all food in Australia is being wasted due to confusion about use-by dates and storage advice. A report from RMIT University suggests clearer, consistent and easy-to-read information is needed to address the issue. Associate Professor Lucas Parker says the numbers are concerning.
7.6 million tonnes of food is lost and wasted every year, which works out to about 300 kilos per person in the country every year. You know, that could be going to feed people, and also when we're throwing out food, it's wasting money and it's bad for the environment.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Sport now, Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will fly to Sydney this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's preliminary final against Sydney. Charlie Dixon and Ryan Burton are both set to have fitness tests at a training session. The teams to be announced a little later this evening. Rowie and Timmy G will have that all covered. Meantime, Dustin Martin's former Richmond teammate Trent Cotchin believes Dusty's a 0 to 1% chance of coming out of retirement to join Gold Coast for next season. Let's go to other sport. Australian tennis player Thanasi Kokkinakis is rubbing shoulders with the world's best in camp with Team World. That's ahead of the Laver Cup. Plenty of European Champions League action again this morning, and Manchester City's been left frustrated after being held to a 0-0 draw against Inter Milan. Paris Saint-Germain left it late with a 90th minute winner against Girona, while Celtic enjoyed a brilliant 5-1 win at home against Slovan Bratislava.
It's 5! Adam Eder celebrates his first goal since the Scottish Cup final back at the end of last season.
Yeah, great goal there. Audio thanks to Stan Sport. Australia's netballers will take on to England tonight here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. It's the first of 3 test matches which will take place over the next week. And Wallabies coach Joe Schmidt is expected to bring a selection surprise for Saturday's first Bledisloe Cup clash by picking Nick White ahead of Jake Gordon at halfback. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
The odd passing shower, so look out for wet roads in a few spots this morning. And Noarlunga Downs, a car fire to keep in mind too. Main South Road and the Southern Expressway. Works in North Adelaide to look out for too. Park Terrace near Hawker Street and down to 40 at Renown Park for works. Torrens Road near South Road. Early morning cameras, Briar Road, Felixstowe and Bundy's Road at North Adelaide today. Freedom's mid-season sale is on now. Relax and save with up to 55% off mattresses and ensembles. Sale on now, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA weather.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower 2 and 16 today. Showers continue tomorrow and 17. Same Saturday, shower 17. Then Sunday, a shower 2, 18. Currently it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, had a bit of rain early, but the sun is up right now. Might get some more. Get used to it though, because it's going to be the story of things for the next few days. A bit drizzly and not quite the warm we've had, but that's spring in Adelaide. It's the 19th of September today. The good news, if you've just woken up, you haven't missed today's clue for the AFL Grand Final ticket competition. So we try and whittle down ovals across Adelaide to try and work out where your footy tickets are hidden. Flights, accommodation, all included. Clue number 4 coming up a little bit later this morning.
Have you got a guess?
Well, yeah, my guess is pretty well informed, unfortunately, so I can't share it.
Oh! The plot thickens. Yet again, it appears that I've been kept out of the loop.
So, yes.
The man who knew too much.
I shan't say any more on the matter. There will be another clue coming up a little bit later, though. That
Is it north?
I'm not saying,
Is it
David.
south?
I won't be saying. Look at my poker face. It's just in...
You do a good poker face.
I'm inscrutable.
You are. You're a vault. You wouldn't crack under torture.
Let's, no, I'd actually do torture. I'd be out within... In fact, just... You even mentioning it, I've kind of just want to tell you now.
I'm going to find out the ad break.
All right, let's get into news headlines before I do crack under the pressure. Starting with news that, well, it's been underway for 7 hours and 8 minutes now. The mobile phone cameras that we expect to be highly lucrative for the state government are on. They're on in a way that means you are now getting fined for real. There's no nice letter. There's no grace period. You cop a $556 fine plus a $102 victims of crime levy for a grand sum of $658 plus 3 demerit points. Very quickly, it becomes a very, very, very expensive business to be touching your mobile phone when you're behind the wheel. The notable thing that came out yesterday too, 2 more locations are going to be put on. We don't know where they are, but they're going to put them on next year. Have a listen to Superintendent Darren Filkey last night talking on 7 News ahead of the midnight deadline for the grace period.
I can tell you the fun's over. From tonight, you're copping the fine, and you're going to cop multiple fines if you continue to engage in that type of behaviour. There would have been over 1,200 people during this grace period that would have lost their licence. I encourage every motorist in South Australia, do not use your phone while you're driving. It is so simple. Just don't do it.
Based on the rate, we understand that the fines were being levied during the period of the grace period. Someone is already got a fine coming their way. It's just 7 hours old. Here's Charles Mountain from the RAA. He spoke to Pants on his program yesterday.
Had a long grace period, if you like, the 3-month period since the cameras were first switched on back in June. So you'd think people who travel these corridors, and a lot of people will be driving these roads backwards and forwards every single day.
Yeah.
So you think, yes, you've had more than enough opportunity to realise they're there and modify the behaviour. So it is concerning. We've spoken a lot about mobile phones and the relationship between them and distracted driving, and it is really, really fundamental to ensuring that people are focused on the task of driving and not what's happening on their phone. Now, once upon a time when all phones did was sort of make phone calls, it was perhaps slightly different, but now people's lives seem to be totally engineered around every function on the phone, so obviously far more opportunities to be distracted, and that's why it's really important for people just to have a reset, and this is perhaps a good time to do just that.
So there's 5 locations: South Road at Torrensville, the North-South Motorway at Regency Park, Port Wakefield Road at Jepps Cross, the Southern Expressway at Darlington, and Port Road at Hindmarsh. If I was the news director at Channel 7, I'd get a cameraman today and just say, go out to one of these spots and sit there filming, because I reckon you'd find people still doing it.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt.
Be the easiest job in the world.
Yeah.
You have to be careful legally running images like that of people, because they could be looking down at,
I think you
at
can't
a sandwich or something.
Yeah, I don't think you can identify them, but you can film it from a public spot.
Yeah, for sure. That's a valid story.
Extraordinary developments out of Lebanon. We said that yesterday, but that's because there's been a new series of explosions featuring another small handheld device. Exploding walkie-talkies have killed 14 people and injured at least 450 people across Lebanon. So this comes the day after the exploding pages injured some 3,000 people and killed many. Those pages killing 12. Multiple sources say Mossad, the Israeli spy agency, was targeting Hezbollah fighters in the explosions. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu.
I've said before, we'll return the residents of the north securely to their homes, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
So the Israeli defense minister has subsequently said that there is a new phase in the war opening and the centre of gravity is shifting to the north, which is where Lebanon is, the home of Hezbollah. Here's Dr. Faras Abiad, who's the Lebanon health minister, talking about what the impact of these explosions, these targeted attacks have been.
The use of this non-discriminatory force or attacks, which clearly will affect civilians, is something, in my mind, is something against international humanitarian law.
Is it non-discriminatory? There was a piece I read yesterday saying it's actually more precise than a lot of other forms of response to terror attacks. Yeah, it's more probably a hell of a lot more precise. And I know I've prefaced this by saying there was a young girl who was killed who was standing next to one of these blokes,
which is awful.
It's unbelievably bad. But the thing is, every single person who actually had a pager got given it by Hezbollah when they were told to get rid of their mobile phones. So it is actually like incredibly precisely targeted.
Well, this is just it. I was thinking about this yesterday, and this is why smart people in the modern world say war should be avoided at all costs, because you are forced into a position where you ask yourself to choose between a range of really otherwise awful choices. So let's go through them. There is a militant group across the border firing rockets into your country and killing people. So what do? Well, we know bombing's indiscriminate. Israel have been, you can't just go and a tactical strike on Hezbollah positions, because there'll be other casualties.
Yeah.
You can't, a ground invasion, well, we know, I mean, the US crunched the numbers on the ground invasion of Japan and said a nuclear bomb's actually more merciful. Ground invasions kill a lot more people. You do something like this in a way we've never seen before, and it's awful. And there will be innocent people that get killed. But in the end, you found yourself choosing between the least awful of only awful options.
Well, this is it. And hearing that guy then, like, okay, you say it in the context of that 8-year-old girl yesterday, and it's absolutely true. And there's no way that can be rationalised or dismissed as just one of those things. But one of the drivers of this, and this was only like 6 weeks ago, was that Hezbollah deliberately fired rockets into northern Israel and killed 12 kids who were at soccer training. They were at school soccer training. So this evil tit for tat. The thing I wonder, though, is in the medium to longer term, I might have taken the wind out of Hezbollah's sails now, but a lot of these things by Israel, they always seem like recruitment campaigns for future generations of terrorists. I don't think it wipes Hezbollah out. It knocks them off their balance at the moment, but a lot of them will go, I want to join now because of this.
Well, this is why then I quote again the Israeli Defense Minister, opening of a new phase in the war and the centre of gravity shifting north is interesting, because you're right. But does this presage some sort of incursion into Lebanon to try and rout the group?
To try and wipe them out?
Yeah. Do you have their leadership in disarray, and then you can...
Then you go in now.
Then you go in. I'm not sure. That's what people are speculating and wondering, whether they're looking for some more permanent result as a result of it. But I think you're right. There is no permanent solution to any of this stuff.
Yeah, tell you what, life's a lottery, isn't it? I mean, you can either be born in Mitchell Park or Westlake, so you can be born there.
Well, let's talk about some of the suburbs of Adelaide, shall we? A quarter of all Adelaide suburbs are now in the $1 Million Club. A quarter. Prop track data shows there are 114 suburbs now in Adelaide with 7-figure medians. 5 months ago, that number was 39 suburbs smaller. Just think about that for a second. In the last 5 months, 39 suburbs have joined the $1 Million Club. Among the newcomers, Sefton Park, West Croydon, Seacliff Park, Felixstowe, Door Park. They're all just they're just a smidge over $1 million right now.
Door Park is more than $1 million.
Door Park, the median. Again,
when I was a kid, Door Park was filled with smelters and foundries making seatbelt parts for the Chrysler factory.
So, again, median is the best measure of this because it doesn't get skewed by one $5 million house that drags up the average. It's just line up all the houses. What's the middle one worth? It's worth over $1 million. There are now 101 suburbs with median home prices over $1 million. There are 10 suburbs with medians of more than $2 million in Adelaide now. Toorak Gardens, Leabrook, Glenelg South, Unley Park and Rose Park. Medindie is the only Adelaide suburb with a median house price over $3 million.
Crikey.
3.12. Oh, it's just an unfathomable.
What do you do if you live in
money.
Medindie, though?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about Medindie. It's just sort of like this sort of ethereal concept in my brain. Is there a pub there? Are there restaurants?
I think.
What happens in Medindie?
For a $3 million house, you just have the pub at your place.
Yeah, that's right. You just hire waiters to come round at night.
Do we have a single listener in Medindie?
Yeah, I reckon we would.
Anyone in Medindie listening?
Yeah.
What do you do in Medindie?
Yeah.
We're fascinated.
What do you do there?
822 300 you can text us on the Duttons text line 0480 1395. Duttons car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge, easy to do business with.
I don't think I've ever stepped foot in there. I don't think I know anyone who lives there. Clearly moving in the wrong circles.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's check traffic. We'll come back with more in just a moment. The Monopoly game is at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
Thanks, Will. We had the odd passing shower through a little bit earlier, so some damp roads still in a few spots today, and a car fire getting cleaned up from earlier this morning at Nollunga Downs, Main South Road near the Southern Expressway. Slow for works in North Adelaide, Park Terrace near Hawker Street, and Renown Park 2, Torrens Road near South Road. Look out for cameras this morning, Dyson Road, Christie's Beach, and Bryant Road at Felixstowe. Your local RGA has mega dollar deals like Connoisseur Gourmet Ice Cream, 1 litre selected varieties, $6 each, half price. Offer ends September 24 while stocks last. Excludes Foodland. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Bus Tech. At a time when we have lost so much manufacturing across the country, and here in South Australia, you think of everything we had, including obviously Holden and Mitsubishi. We don't build a lot of things anymore in Australia, but we do build buses, and we build them just out of the city to the north.
Matthew Pantelis.
It would be very good if that could continue, and goodness knows, the government would be very keen for that to continue.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
When the mornings start getting warmer and the sun rises a little bit earlier, the dream you let lie dormant over winter wakes. It's time to start with Olympic Industries Spring Sale. Huge savings on locally engineered verandas, carports, garages, tool sheds and more. Start building your dream now. And one day you'll look back at where it all started, in your own backyard, with Olympic Industries Spring Sale on now.
The Steinborner Group has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 features a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine. This 4x4 dual-range Ute boasts an impressive 3-tonne towing capacity, a 1,045-kilogram payload and a tray that fits a standard pallet. Starting from just $45,980 drive away, Jack Motors is well worth a trip. Visit gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
So, what's for dinner?
One word, Will, Chanellas.
That's right. When it comes to dinner, or for that matter, lunch, the chefs at Chanellas have done all the hard work for you with stunning pre-prepared meals cooked daily using the freshest local ingredients, and they're all ready to take home right now.
And what about the range? They've got family pasta dishes like penne alla panna, roast chicken rigatoni, traditional lasagna, full roasts, a range of tasty curries, the most amazing quiches and so much more, all lovingly prepared by the chefs at Chanellas.
So that's dinner sorted, or even lunch. Jump onto the Chanellas website or order in-store today. Chanellas, it's a way of life.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Walco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au. Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality and style of Armani, Canali, Zegna and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. Ignition for Men. ignitionformen.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 7. Bit of rain about the place this morning. Up to 2 mils forecast today. Because of the way the Bureau works, we only get rain totals going from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. So if you did get any rain anywhere yesterday, disregard this. But if it was dry yesterday, this is a pretty good gauge of how much is left to come today. West Terrace has had 8 mils, the airport 1.4, Mount Lofty 3.2, Marion 2.2, Woodside has had 0.8, and Burnside 2.6. So by that measure, if that is what's come in since midnight tonight, you'd imagine that should be pretty reasonable for the rest of the day, but there's going to be lots of rain in the future.
Yeah, just looking at the radar, it looks reasonably clear now, but it's hard to get a beat on. It looks like it's going to be quite unsettled for into the weekend. So just have your brolly handy.
Yep, that's right. The grand final ticket competition, there is another clue number 4 that's not too far away, so make sure you stay listening. Of course, too, if you ever do miss the clue, and because you missed the part of the show that happens, you can always go to the 5AA Breakfast podcast and spool through and listen to go back and find it. So you're not out of the game if you do miss the clue, but if you want a chance to win, of course, you've got to be listening live. Should we do some Dutton's text? 0480
Some good ones about Medindi. One here, isn't Medindi famous for Scotty's Motel? Well, if not, it should be.
Yeah.
That's sort of at the back of Medindi, isn't it?
Landmark.
Yeah, absolutely. One here, I used to look after children in Medindi for a lawyer. Thank you for that, Rosie. One here, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons lives there, I think. And pub-wise, Tony from Montague Farm says the Buckingham Arms and the Sussex hotels are in Medindi, or close to it. Yeah, that makes sense. Just there up Nottage Terrace way, around there.
Yep. 23 after 7. Last night on the sports show, Rowie and Timmy G started picking over Ken Hinkley's prelim final records. He lost 4 of these before. Some of them are very close, as I think you're about to hear. Just to try and get a sense of whether he can go one better tomorrow night. Have a listen.
This is the 4th prelim during his coaching tenure. So just have a listen to Ken on how desperate they are to get through.
I think the reality is it's a prelim final. We've been here 4 times before in my time. We're desperate to get through this. We're desperate to get our opportunity. So there's a lot on the line.
I like the fact that he's actually said that. I like the fact that he's desperate to get through it. Because that showed last week that they weren't happy with the week before and they were desperate to make amends. Now they got another prelim opportunity.
2014 versus the Hawks, the MCG. 3 points, I called that game.
Yeah, that was
2020 versus Richmond, lost by 6 points. They were 6 single points. They looked the better team. That was at home.
Yeah.
Then it was the Dogs, smoked them at home by 71.
That was a stinker.
Put a line through that. This is their 4th chance, and again, 4th time lucky.
Is that such a saying? Let's hope so.
I'm not sure it is a saying, but it might be one after tomorrow night.
You sort of wonder how, like, I don't know, St Kilda fans feel now after that period where they were just the best team in the competition for the better part of 3 or 4 years and just could never quite pull it off. You know what? They lost that grand final against Geelong. Then they drew with Collingwood, lost the following week, lost a couple of prelims as well. Port have been here before, though. I mean, let's not forget, 2004, they'd been minor premiers for, 3 years? Or thereabouts. You know, they'd been up there. So, you know, it's a very hard thing making a grand final.
It is, yeah. That's why you make it, and the season was a success by any measure.
I'm excited today. Timmy G's going to be interviewing Silk, Sean Burgoyne, Gilbert McAdam and Eddie Fry at the Carbine Club's SANFL Grand Final lunch. Obviously, the big game this Sunday between the Bays and Norwood. Should be a really good game, that, because the Bays really have come into form at the right time of the year, unlike my boys who won 13 in a row, then went out in straight sets. But I was saying before how much Timmy G, with his 7 flags in his back pocket, is the sort of living embodiment of the SANFL tradition. So he's going to be there today at this Carbine Club lunch, which raises a lot of money for charity. And 3 of the genuine. I loved Eddie Fry as a kid. Played for South Adelaide before he came over to Sturt, but he was such an exciting player to watch. And then, of course, Burgoyne in a league of his own.
One of the greats.
And McAdam, a really funny guy, McAdam. That Marn Grook show, like, every time I watch it, I just think, this is a really cool show. It's unique. So, yeah, good on you, Tim, for giving up your time to do the Carbine lunch.
Timmy, you do an excellent job. There's no doubt about that. All right, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up very shortly. Matt Abraham is going to join us as we dissect the spin of the week.
9 out of 10, out of 10, every time.
The Honda mid-size SUV stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and 8 years roadside assist, plus a $1,000 Ampol fuel card on 2023 build Honda ZR-V and CR-Vs. Visit us at Formula Honda to test drive today. Ampol fuel card offer valid until September 30. Different warranty applies for vehicles used for commercial purposes. T's and C's at honda.com.au. Hurry into Formula Honda. Find us at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond, or North East Road, Modbury.
The Toolkit Depot Parafield Plumbing Day is on all day today, only at our Parafield store. Check out the latest plumbing tools and accessories from all the top trade plumbing brands, including Milwaukee, Rigid, Plumboss, Husqvarna, Irwin and more. We'll have exclusive plumbing deals, hands-on product demos, giveaways and we're firing up the barbie. Don't miss the Toolkit Depot Plumbing Day today at Toolkit Depot Parafield, corner of Main North Road and Kesters Road, Parafield.
Now, look, premium fine dining at home is easy, and it can be really easy if you head along to Samtas. You can impress your guests with Samtas's super fresh South Aussie King George Whiting fillets. This is a crazily good price, $54.99 a kilo. I've seen them for $80 elsewhere. Don't miss their large SA garfish fillets, just $47.99 a kilo. And also Samtas's freshly opened Smoky Bay oysters, premium fine dining at home.
Seize the season's #1 best deal, raw South Aussie king prawns from just $13.99 per kilo and large cooked at $21.99 a kilo.
And then there's the deal inflation forgot. $60 fills your freezer with the 4 kilos of premium snap frozen seafood. Mix and match for just $60. Fillets of barra, snapper, dory, Atlantic salmon, each in 1 kilo packs.
Feed your family with the 4 kilo seafood deal for just $60. New Zealand ovenable battered whiting, crumb prawns, salt and pepper squid, whitebait, Tassie Atlantic salmon cutlets, all to choose from.
Samtas Seafoods, Adelaide's only factory direct premium seafood specialists, open 7 days a week. Samtas Seafoods, where unbeatable value meets uncompromised quality. Visit us at 201 Richmond Road, Richmond.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Don't just send it, ace it.
If your current job is driving you bonkers, get outdoors and hit the road. ACET Transport Solutions is growing and they need more drivers to keep their promise of perfect service. So, if you want a career that'll take you places, get in touch with the team at ACET Transport Solutions. Visit acettransport.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Next time you pour Fluorio milk into your coffee or tea, over your cereal or in your smoothie, you're closer to being an SA dairy farmer than you think. 100% of Fluorio Co milk comes from our state's best dairy farmers and their families. So when you buy any Fluorio milk product, you become part of that big family too, doing your bit to support our farming families. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
A shower or 2 and 16 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
More deaths and hundreds injured in a second wave of hardware attacks in Lebanon. Europe correspondent Jessica Millwood.
At least 14 people have been killed and 400 injured after walkie-talkies started exploding in Beirut and other areas of Lebanon. As the hours went on, reports came through that solar power systems and home intercoms were also detonating. The walkie-talkies are believed to have been purchased at the same time the pagers were that blew up yesterday. The theory being the supply chain was infiltrated and explosives rigged. Hezbollah is blaming Israel. The country is not commenting directly, but the Defence Minister has said that Israel is now entering a new phase in the war, turning their attention to the north.
A man's been arrested after a stabbing at Crystalbrook last night. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says they were called to Giles Street about 8 p.m.
When police arrived, they located a 47-year-old man who'd been stabbed several times. He was airlifted to Adelaide, where he remains in a critical condition. And swiftly, a 53-year-old man was arrested without incident. He's now been charged with attempt murder, and he's going to appear in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court today.
There's been a jump in online job vacancies in South Australia. SA recorded the second highest increase in online job positions for August, up 6.9%. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says there are more than 21,000 jobs available in the state.
And it's a good sign that even though the nation's economy is slowing, there is still a huge amount of life left in our state's economy as businesses are looking to expand their operations and employ more South Australians.
The US Central Bank has cut rates for the first time since the pandemic. The Federal Reserve has slashed interest rates by 0.5 percentage point, arguing inflation is moving towards a sustainable 2%. Chairman Jeremy Powell says it's a decision aimed at keeping the jobs market afloat amid rising unemployment in the United States.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to reduce the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by 0.5 percentage point. This decision reflects our growing confidence that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength in the labour market can be maintained.
Lots of Port fans are getting ready to hit the road. Many have opted to make the trip to Sydney for tomorrow night's prelim final by car after the airlines hiked up fares. It's a 15-hour trip to the harbour city. And the RAA's Charles Mountain says plan your trip and try to stay off the road after dark.
Ideally try and plan the driving in daylight hours if possible. Night driving and driving in dawn and dusk presents some particular challenges with the likelihood of encountering wildlife, and of course traffic conditions can be more challenging driving at night as well.
The iconic Palais Hotel at Semaphore will remain in public hands after locals overwhelmingly urged the state government to not sell the state heritage-listed beachside property. The government will now offer a new long-term lease for the popular hotel that will provide certainty for the Semaphore Palais hoteliers, their staff and the local community. The Palais was built in 1922 during a boom in seaside recreation and tourism in South Australia. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Tom Wren, a big night at Alberton.
It's going to be huge, isn't it, Graham? It's selection night, and Port Adelaide's likely to bring back Charlie Dixon. He's the forward for tomorrow night's clash against Sydney in the prelim. Now, Ryan Burton is also a chance to come back into the side after recovering from that calf issue. Essendon, meantime, has been warned by the AFL over who the club allows in its change rooms. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
Concerns have been raised about who a couple of Essendon players have been associating with. It comes after they appeared in the change rooms as post-match guests of club veterans Jake Stringer and Nick Hind. The Herald Sun is reporting the Bombers have since been warned those guests are no longer welcome in the inner sanctum. Hind was recently delisted despite playing 15 senior games this season, while Stringer is in a standoff over a contract extension.
Well, legendary broadcaster Bruce McAvaney admits it was hard to watch Dustin Martin play for Richmond this season. The triple Norm Smith medalist is widely tipped to reverse a decision to retire and play on at Gold Coast next season. McAvaney told Wide World of Sports he doesn't want to see Martin play unless he can get back to playing decent football.
It's been hard to watch. There have been glimpses every now and then. He and Wayne Carey are the best two match winners I've called in my time in terms of turning a match and winning a match. But for Dusty, it's been a little while. It's been quite a while. In fact, I haven't called a game for 4 years, and that was when he won his third Norm Smith, and he hasn't played as well again.
And there was one match last night with Brisbane belting the Bulldogs in the AFLW by 47 points. To soccer, and Manchester City and Inter Milan have played out a 0-0 draw to begin their Champions League campaigns. PSG beat Girona 1-0 at home, while Tottenham has survived a tense League Cup match against Coventry, finding a winner in the 92nd minute to win 2-1 and advance to the fourth round. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there. The odd shower has passed through this morning, so damp rains in a few spots. Look out for that. And a car fire at Noarlunga Downs getting cleaned up at the moment. It's on Main South Road near the Southern Expressway entry area. Slow for works at Wingfield. That's on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield ramp, and busy South Road at Edwardstown for works. Speeds at 40. Cameras Briar Road, Felixstowe, and Dyson Road at Christie's Beach this morning. The King Living Spring Sale is on now. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Hurry, sale on now. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two and 16 today. Showers continue tomorrow, 17. And Saturday, showers 17. Sunday, a shower or two, 18. Currently, it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across NY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 8. Matt Abraham coming up in a moment. We'll dissect the spin of the week. I like this text, though, David, on the Duttons text line. It says, morning 5AAA. Like the battery. I don't often agree with Pemble. But I strongly agree with his comment regarding the intersection of North East Road and Foster Road, having experienced a 15-minute delay there myself last night, trying to turn right, heading south into the city I think he means off Foster's Road. I'm very surprised there have not been more reports about this intersection. It's not the first time. Something needs to be done urgently.
Yeah, it's a rotten intersection. Terrible intersection. Justice for Lightsview, I say.
Yeah, this is a non-marginal. This is a safe seat.
Lest anyone think I'm obsessed with just nothing other than Mitchell Park and Aldinga. Justice for Lightsview. Fix Foster's Road. Hashtag.
9 to 10 out of 10 every time.
Matthew Abraham on 5AA Breakfast.
Your local Mitre 10 friendly service expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful. Mitre 10. Good morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. Justice for Lightsview. I think it'll catch on.
Yeah, totally. It's a great suburb, Lightsview. It's interesting. I like that big area in the middle with
nice.
the lakes.
Yeah, it's all right.
Pretty.
It's all right. Before we get into the serious matters of the day, whatever they may be, I just have to have a whack at the geniuses from the Department of Transport who, on, what's today, Thursday, on Tuesday, the only decent fishing day of the week, when the winds were allegedly under 10 knots, decide to refuel the sand dredge barge at West Beach by parking it across 2 of the 3 lanes of the boat ramp.
Oh, that's good.
Really?
And waiting for the tanker to arrive. So
Tuesday was a great day.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
It was a great day. I ended up driving to North Haven. It's a long story. It was a disaster. But anyway, I'm looking at this thinking, there's a whole lot of guys with their boats on trailers just standing there looking, watching the tide go out, and there's this barge. And so I sent a text to Tom Kutzentonis.
Straight to the top.
With a photo. And then a little later in the day, like about 5 o'clock, I thought, gee, that was a bit early. It's possible he had other things on his mind, like getting the kids to school or affairs of state. When are they going to start the north-south,
trying to secure
South Road.
$8 billion to finish his road.
But anyway, he said that's fine, and he said he's been assured it won't happen again.
Well, there you go.
He
Result.
said, or so I'm told.
I'm advised.
He's used to obviously being disappointed by his department, I heard.
Good on you.
Anyway, there you go.
Flying the flag for the fishies.
Listening and reading this morning in the Tizer that we now have, another 39 suburbs where the median price is $1 million for housing. And we've talked before about no one knows why house prices in Adelaide continue to go up and have continued to sort of skyrocket at a time of punishing, 14 interest rate, 15 interest rate rises in a row. I think there were 14 in a row, and they had a bit of a break and then another one. When other states, like for instance Melbourne has slowed down, we're about to overtake Melbourne for, the median price of a house. So a lot of houses in the $1 million club. And we hear the government saying, oh, well, the problem is supply, and we're building more affordable homes. And Anthony Albanese saying the biggest obstacle to people getting into a house is housing supply. I'm thinking, well, that's one of them. That's one of them. There's another one that the governments have got total control over and just sit back and pocket the cash, and that is stamp duty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you look at $1 million house, I've just done, stamp duty on $1 million house in South Australia, $48,830. $48,830. Agents' fees, let's say you're buying and selling, you know, a baby boomer trying to downsize, agents' fees on that are $15,000. So if you're going to change houses, for instance, and that's one of the big things the government wants people to do, because people are just sitting pat in their houses, you know, filthy rich baby boomers who are sort of the latest scourge, social scourge on the landscape.
1,000-metre blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
We get 8 houses in there.
Yeah, so to buy and sell, to move inside the market, $64,000 before you do anything.
Yeah.
And you could probably round that out by the time you get other fees that the government charges you.
Sure.
And that's because stamp duty hasn't been adjusted for inflation. In other words, you're now paying stamp duty, relatively, stamp duty on $48,000. That should be the stamp duty that would have applied to a $10 million, $15 million mansion or something like that. It was never intended to be paying that much stamp duty on your average or median house in Adelaide. And it's a huge obstacle for you know, particularly young people trying to buy a house.
The thing
it's
too,
just
Matt,
enormous.
We sat next to each other in the budget lock-up. How much of the money that Stephen Mulligan has already raked in since he's been, almost 3 years now, 2.5 years as Treasurer, the budget papers this year showed that so much of the revenue through to the state has come off the back of the increase in property prices. So given what it was back in June, it's going to be off the charts next year.
Exactly.
And the year after that.
They're rolling in it. You know, it was said that the government that was in office, a state government in office when the GST came in, and that was a Labor government, as it turned out, I think, would be, you know, that was the one to win because you'd be rolling in rivers of cash. Well, building your GST rivers of cash in, stamp duty for all state governments is an absolute bonanza. And there's no doubt we'll see, you know, as you've said, David, when they come out with a mid-year economic review, they usually come out when no one's paying attention just before Christmas. That will be, again, another bonanza for the state government, and they just pocket it. And yes, I know they come out with targeted stamp duty relief, but it does not apply to the broad spectrum of people trying to buy houses in Adelaide, and it certainly wouldn't apply to someone trying to buy, you know, an $800,000 $1 million house.
For sure.
And we're talking about first home buyers now. It's not like first home buyers. It was 400,000. Well, it's now 600,000 is a first home buyer house. Well, you've got to add to that costs of probably about another 50 to 60,000, which just gets you nothing. It's just here it is to the government.
I thought Bruce Gite's column in the Tiser today was really good. Bruce Gite, obviously, the heading up the Property Council now, but he makes a good point about how people can't complain in the same breath about the cost of housing, but also how they don't want medium or higher density housing in their suburb, because so much of what the state government has done, and I get it from a sort of human perspective, because I can remember hearing a speech somewhere where the Premier was talking about his support for, what do they call it, greenfield developments, which is, you know, where you get a block of land and you've got enough room to put up a backyard cricket pitch and a soccer goal for your kids and so on. So they've got somewhere to play. You don't want everyone living like, you know, sort of sardines in the city with no backyard at all. But the hostility towards that type of inner city development means that there's too much of the other, not enough of the urban infill, and as a result, we've got vacancy rates of 1%.
1% rentals. This is where I think the federal debate right now is fascinating. And whilst Anthony Albanese, I think what he's doing is principle, and I agree with it from that perspective. I'm not sure it's the smartest politics, but he's trying to push through legislation to build these 1.2 million houses, but in the process is taking on the horribly compromised Greens, who simultaneously say they've got a plan to solve the housing crisis, but at council level oppose just about every development that anyone wants to do.
Exactly.
And he's fighting a war on two fronts at the moment to try and get legislation through to get their housing plan across, because it's going to need the Greens support. Politically, there's nothing in the coalition to wave it through. But the Greens' position is hopelessly compromised.
Sure. I have a different view on Bruce's column, because one of my real bugbears is this, and I know you love doing this, David, so I don't want to have an unnecessary fight with you. But it's this whole NIMBY thing, people are being NIMBY because they oppose live music. People are being NIMBY because they don't want, high-rise development next to their house. Well, good on people, What Bruce was talking about at Glenside there is that development, which is already high-rise. I mean, there are already 4, 5, 6-storey apartment blocks going there. The developer's got approval for one that was a certain height and wants to just about double it. I think they want to go to 20 storeys. Well, that to me is sort of overreach in terms of changing the amenity of what is already a developed suburb. I mean, if you look at that site there, there's a lot of housing in that site. So the NIMBY thing, and Peter Malinowskis, I don't know if he uses the word NIMBY, but he sort of uses this argument that, you're okay, you've got your house, why stop somebody else getting a house? I think there's got to be a balance between that and dismissing anybody who is upset that the house they bought in good faith is suddenly going to have a towering apartment block next to them. Their views are irrelevant. Well, and obviously the Property Council are going to say that, because
I get
maybe they should
making.
Pull back on some. Maybe they should be fighting the state government to get stamp duty eradicated. That'd be a handy start for them.
But isn't it more the issue around? And I'm thinking about my own street as a kid growing up in Mitchell Park. Like, there were probably 20 houses on it. Now there's probably 30 or maybe 40.
Sure.
And thinking about Uncle Bill's corner block there on corner of Egan Crescent, heading around towards Bayard Terrace. After he died, it was a deceased estate. That would have been like probably an 800 square metre block. Nice old house, but it served its purpose. It got knocked down and it got replaced with 3 townhouses.
Sure.
Now you hear people complaining about that, going, now there's 3 houses there, and there are these narrow houses, and now there's 3 cars, and there used to be, or maybe there's 4 cars or 5 cars, there used to be 2 cars. Well, a suburb like Mitchell Park can actually accommodate Uncle Bill's house being replaced with 3 smaller houses.
Sure.
And that's the type of design that you hear so many people complain about. People go, there's all these little houses in the street now. So,
well, I know
we can still.
But there's not a 20-storey apartment block. You're not allowed to complain about a 20-storey apartment block that's going to go up next to your apartment. I mean, you're a NIMBY. You're opposed to progress. You're being selfish.
I'm with you on that, because people see those horrible tenement-style developments in Melbourne and Sydney, and you go to places like Chatswood and Sydney, it looks like Singapore. I get the sensitivity around that, but what I don't get is the lower-level hostility to just pushing more people in and doing it in a way which I think is much more manageable than people in South Australia think it is.
Yeah. And look, it's happening anyway. So, you're sort of old man shouting at the clouds. I know I often end up in that Simpsons category. But I've been keeping this. This was a leaflet that came in from Justin Hanson, MLC, Member of Legislative Council. It's good to see Justin. I've never until now encountered his visage. With the Premier, Malinowskis' government commitment delivered. A better tree canopy for South Australia. Now, they're enacting a new law reducing pruning to 30% of a tree's canopy every 5 years. Fees for removal of trees will be increased 300% to a maximum of $1,500 a tree. I'm reading this thinking, are you serious? And then they're saying, why are we changing tree laws? Across Metro Adelaide, there's been a 20% decrease in tree canopy. You know why? Because all the 800 square metre blocks have got 3 houses on them, or people knock, in Unley, you knock down a house and then you build a single house that has every square inch covered in concrete, swimming pool, tennis court, or whatever you want to squeeze into it. And that's all allowed under the planning laws. Government wants to put up, a council can't oppose trees being knocked down for apartment blocks. So here's the government on one hand bemoaning a 20% decrease in tree canopy. On the other hand, the two things are connected. Like, the trees aren't just vanishing.
Well, the NBA's got some interesting data about this at the moment. We were talking the other day about the cost of arborists and how much it's gone up. You can't do anything, particularly now under these new laws, involving any type of tree almost without getting an arborist report.
Yeah.
So they are just...
it's a good business to be in.
Thinking of a job, kids, maybe being an arborist is the job for you.
Yeah.
We might check traffic and come back with more with Matt Abraham as we dissect the spin of the week in just a moment. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
Thanks, Will. At Stirling, somebody won't be climbing the corporate ladder today because they've left it on the freeway. It's in the right-hand lane of the freeway heading into the city, causing big delays. Take it easy through there this morning. Noarlunga Downs clearing up after nearly a car fire. Main South Road near the Southern Expressway and works at Jeps Cross, Green Junction Road near Devon Street. Cameras, Baines Road, Woodcroft and Gage Street at Firle. If you love cooking, Meals on Wheels could do with you. Become a volunteer today and help them keep the wheels turning. Visit millsonwheelsa.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Budget Car and Truck Rental has everything you need to get from A to B easily. With a huge range of trucks, vans, cars, utes, hybrids, 12 to 25-seater buses and more. Plus extras like trolleys, trailers, boxes, furniture covers, tapes and blankets. We've got any move covered. With multiple locations across Metro and Regional SA, it couldn't be easier. Budget Car and Truck Rental. Get to the good stuff. Call 13 27 27 or visit budget.com.au.
Every day, a passionate team works hard to maintain one of the world's most immaculate playing surfaces, Adelaide Oval. And now, they're available to you. If you're in charge of an oval, sporting field or community space, you can trust the renowned Adelaide Oval grounds team. Adelaide Oval Turf Solutions brings its expertise to any green space, and they'll work to your budget. From turf curation and construction to maintenance and repair, we'll give you the base for you to build on. Search Adelaide Oval Turf Solutions today.
Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier with some of the best brands in cooking, dishwashers, clothes dryers and washing machines.
This place is fantastic. All through September, Adelaide Appliance Gallery are making life more affordable with spectacular savings on selected Smeg Omni Chef ovens. Save $900.
You also save $700 on selected full steam ovens, save $500 on selected combi steam ovens, and save $150 on selected Smeg Diamond Series dishwashers. Premium in design and premium in features.
From the kitchen to the laundry, Adelaide Appliance Gallery make your everyday easier. Call in at 155 Paynham Road, St Peters and take a look at their stunning designer appliance gallery or visit adelaideappliancegallery.com.au.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
I have a riddle for you. What do you call someone who enjoys a delicious meal of fish and chips, a beef schnitty burger, or a chicken wrap for just $15 with a stunning view of Port River at the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel during the week? Smart. Head into the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel any day of the week and grab a $15 lunch special. Also, if you're looking for a stellar function space, Lighthouse Wharf Hotel does that too. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Five minutes to 8, Matt Abraham in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us as we dissect the spin of the week. It's been spin on urban infill and property development so far this morning. What else has caught your eye, Matt?
Just a little bit of homework from last week. Remember David Spears?
I do recall him.
Yes, gone very, very quiet on that front, hasn't it? His margin in black, and you'll notice the government had a press conference down there, a media conference announcing road development and all that sort of stuff. It's funny, they chose a Liberal seat, but the margin's 2.7%. So he won that. He didn't need to go to preferences. He got 50% on primary vote, but the Labor vote was up 7% at the last election. It was a small swing against David Spears there, 0.9%. But that's a vulnerable seat.
What was the Dunstan by-election swing?
That was quite a lot.
4%, I think.
Something like 4.
So replicate that.
That was a by-election, but...
Yeah, but it was a by-election that went to an incumbent
exactly.
government.
You know,
So it was
part of the
a
problem
once in
the Libs have
100-year
got-
event.
Well, when Jade Rodman was down there the other day, if you want to find people in South Australia who believe David Spears' assertion that that video was a deep fake, go to the Hallett Cove Shopping Centre. Because people were passionately sticking up for the guy, and it's because he's regarded as a good local member.
Yeah.
So if you take him out of the equation, suddenly the
The seat-
dimension of the seat changes.
I would think so. There'd be a personal vote. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt for David
for sure.
Spears there. Could also be Conspiracy Central. There's a lot of it around.
The truth is out there.
Exactly.
Should we rate some spin?
Yes.
Out of 10, every time.
Now, listening to you driving in, tiptoeing around the fact that this incredible Mossad sort of campaign where they've blown up some 3,000 pages, and we now learn overnight that some 90, I think, walkie-talkies have blown up as well. And mindful of the fact that some innocent people died in the result of that. They were targeted at Hezbollah terrorists, really, but some innocent, including an 8-year-old girl. But it is quite an incredible story as well. And we know it's generated memes across the internet. Some of them, a lot of them, I won't because they're inappropriate. But anyway, this is one of our elected representatives in New South Wales, former, the man who would have been a Labor Prime Minister if things had gone his way, Mark Latham, who's speaking in their equivalent of the House of Assembly.
I thank all the contributors. I noticed, though, when I moved the motion, the Honourable Anthony D'Adam was jumping up to take a point of order. He jumped up that quickly, I thought his pager had gone off.
Yeah.
That's Mark Latham.
That actually is Mark Latham.
It is Mark Latham.
To a T,
yeah.
isn't it?
The only time I felt physically ill after interviewing somebody, it was quite a rigorous interview, but that was when he was opposition leader. I nearly threw up afterwards. Bevo had the day off. I'll never forgive, well, he was sick. I'll never forgive him for that. Yes, I have. Now, this is for you, Will, as I know, an incredibly focused newsreader. But this, no. But this is, on 7 News. But this
I'm
is
getting nervous, mate.
This is again a report of the exploding pages, and I'll explain why this is. I think quite an act. This is the Hezbollah newsreader on the Hezbollah News Service.
صدر للتو هذا البيان عن حزب الله.
Now I don't know what he's saying, but what amazes me is that he's reading from an iPhone when he's doing that. And I think to myself, given you
That's brave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to rate that right up there. So for spin, I'm going to give him 7.5.
Out of 10, every time.
In all seriousness, we were saying at the start of the show, like, imagine being there at the moment, any piece of technology that you used, you'd be thinking twice about it.
Exactly. It was like after 9/11, remember there was a period for a few weeks or months where you looked at the sky and felt like every plane was going to come down?
Yeah.
Completely.
Imagine looking at every device.
I know.
So particularly if you're a newsreader on a Hezbollah-aligned news program.
Yes.
Not reading the auto cue, but reading off your phone. I don't.
No,
I
don't
know.
like that.
So, and Mark Latham, I'm not going to rate him.
No,
I wouldn't do that.
Unrateable.
The Australian people didn't, fortunately.
Yeah, they got a great radar, the Australian voters, because Howard, by all rights, was on the decline at that election.
Yeah.
Well, it was an important handshake, wasn't it?
It was. That was the
In Australian history.
Quite literally the clincher.
Yeah. Matt, great to have you in.
Pleasure.
I should say, a lot of support for your position about medium density sort of developments.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
in the
shouting at
suburbs.
clouds,
There's a
shaking
lot
their fist at the
But
clouds.
the stamp duty stuff too.
Yes.
People know when they're being fleeced.
Yeah,
Go on, you,
absolutely.
Excellent, Matt.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower at 2 and 16 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
The US has slashed interest rates for the first time in 4 years, sparking hopes Australia will follow. The Federal Reserve has cut rates by 0.5 percentage point. The Federal Reserve now confident inflation is easing. All eyes are now returning to the Australian Reserve Bank. Treasurer Jim Chalmers has told Today it's all relative.
It's really important to remember that rates went up by more in the US than they did in Australia, and even after this cut overnight in the US, interest rates are still higher in the US than they are here. When the Reserve Bank meets next week, they will consider a whole range of things, including that, but they'll be primarily focused on inflation, as the government is.
While Australia's unemployment rate is rising, South Australia's jobs market is among the best performing in the nation. The total number of job vacancies in South Australia is 21,500, according to the ABS. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says strong jobs growth is a key reason our state is ranked the best performing economy in the nation.
We know that as the nation's economy is slowing, having jobs available is really important, and once again South Australia is leading the way. Not only are we the best performing economy, but our jobs market is leading the way with the growth in the number of job vacancies available.
A man was airlifted to Adelaide in a critical condition after being stabbed at Crystalbrook last night. The 47-year-old suffered multiple stab wounds to his torso. A 53-year-old man's been arrested and charged with attempted murder. He'll face the Port Pirie Magistrates Court today. Expiation notices are now being issued for drivers busted by mobile phone detection cameras. The $658 fine and loss of 3 demerit points kicked in at midnight. During the grace period, the most warning letters were linked to the camera on the north-south motorway at Regency Park. The RAA's Charles Mountain says no phones make the road a safer place.
This is all about ensuring that the phone doesn't constitute a distraction to driving in all its various functions. So it's really important to develop these habits and ensure that wherever you're travelling, the phone is out of sight so you're not tempted to look at it.
Meantime, the Port faithful are headed to Sydney over the next 36 hours ahead of tomorrow night's prelim final against the Swans. But not everyone is going by air. There are lots of fans packing up the car today, opting for a road trip. Charles Martin from the RAA again, saying you need regular breaks and try to alternate drivers.
It is a long drive. Ideally, if you can, share the driving responsibility with someone else, and critically also to ensure that whoever's not driving also stays awake to keep the driver company as well, to ensure that they remain focused on the task of driving at all times as well.
And former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein has pleaded not guilty to a new sexual assault charge following his indictment by a grand jury earlier this month. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will be off to the airport in the next hour or so as they prepare to fly out to Sydney for tomorrow night's prelim final against the Swans. The Swans say they're ready to defy recent history. All the build-up has been surrounding their poor record against Port, losing their past 8 matches. Defender Nick Blakey telling Wide World of Sports they're confident they can break that run in front of a packed SCG.
Obviously, they're a great football team. They've got a lot of great players, and they play a really competitive brand of football that has no doubt challenged us over the past, but we go into Friday night extremely confident that if we play our best, we'll be able to get the job done.
Well, Geelong veterans Tom Hawkins and Cam Guthrie have failed to prove their fitness for Saturday's prelim final against Brisbane. Cats coach Chris Scott has confirmed they won't be picked to play despite getting through a VFL match last week. Meantime, Fremantle Vice-Captain Caleb Sarong has been named his club's best and fairest for the second year in a row, awarded the Doig Medal in last night's ceremony. Fellow midfielder Andrew Brayshaw finished runner-up. Another big name has committed to Australia's Summer of Golf with Cam Smith to tee off at the PGA Championship in Brisbane. He joins the star-studded field, which already includes Minwoo Lee and Jason Day. Plenty of cricket action on today with Australia's women taking on New Zealand in a T20 clash in Mackay, while tonight, our time, it will be Australia's men up against England in the first of 5 ODIs, with Game 1 to be held in Nottingham. To soccer, Manchester City's been held to a frustrating 0-0 draw in its first Champions League match for the new season against Inter Milan, while Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have beaten Coventry City 2-1 in the third round of the League Cup. And Australia's netballers will take on England tonight in Game 1 of their 3-match series, with the first to be held here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Getting busy in the usual spots this morning. South Road at Tonsley as you're getting off the Southern Expressway. Fitzroy Terrace North Adelaide sluggish and quite busy at the moment at Anzac Highway at the Marion Road intersection as you're heading into the city. Works look hard for at Wingfield. That's on the Salisbury Highway to the Wingfield ramp with cameras, Gage Street, Firle and Fitzroy Terrace at North Adelaide. Combining comfort and cutting-edge technology. Make the Mercedes-Benz GLA City Edition yours for $66,900 drive away. Visit Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
And it's showers ahead. A shower or 2 and 16 today. Tomorrow, showers 17. Saturday, 17 with showers. Sunday, a shower or 2 and 18. Currently, it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
When the mornings start getting warmer and the sun rises a little bit earlier, the dream you let lie dormant over winter wakes. It's time to start with Olympic Industries Spring Sale. Huge savings on locally engineered verandas, carports, garages, tool sheds and more. Start building your dream now. And one day you'll look back at where it all started, in your own backyard, with Olympic Industries Spring Sale on now.
Now is the perfect time to open your heart and home to a new pet during RSPCA SA's half-price adoption week, on now until this Sunday at their new O'Halloran Hill home.
Now, this sounds terrific. The RSPCA do such a good job. Their pets are perfectly adoptable too and waiting for their forever home.
Did you know all RSPCA pets are vet-checked, desexed and vaccinated?
Find the perfect pet to join your family during RSPCA SA's half-price adoption week, on right now until this Sunday at their new home on the corner of Majors and South Roads, O'Halloran Hill. For more on these pet adoptions, visit rspcasa.org.au.
Give your mouth a little harmony with Henry Bloom's Probiotic Mouthwash. Formulated with Dental Lac, a probiotic strain that harmonises the delicate pH of your mouth and promotes beneficial bacteria. Available at all major pharmacies. Always read the label and follow directions for use.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, coming up this hour on the program, clue number 4 in our AFL Grand Final ticket competition. And today's the day, if you're going to the prelim final tomorrow night and driving, because you didn't want to pay $1,500 for a return airfare, you're setting off. So we're going to get your complete road trip guide in the next 15 minutes.
Love to hear from people too. Everyone will have planned their route.
Yeah. Is anyone who's jumping in the car today to drive to the SCG?
The most common sort of traditional route from Adelaide to Sydney is Adelaide, Wagga, Sydney. Getting accommodation in Wagga tonight might be hard.
Well, let us know what your plan is. If you're driving, call in. We'd love to chat with you. 8223 000. How exciting, setting off for the road trip to the prelim.
As I've always said, it might take you 40 minutes out of the way, but my tip is go to Griffith. Go Mildura Griffith, stay in Griffith, have an Italian meal at La Scala, or Belvedere is another good pizza bar there on the main street of Griffith.
I think you've got a commercial agreement with La Scala.
Well, I'm trying to get one.
You're starting by doing the advertising first.
I'm doing it backwards. Yeah, I'm going to turn up there in a year's time going, I don't know if you're familiar with the Adelaide radio station 5AA, but I wouldn't mind one of your Rocket and Capicolo pizzas for nothing. Dead set. That is the best pizza.
It sounds amazing. We'll be chatting about that very shortly. Then after 8:30, Ivor Davies from Ice House ahead of a concert at Manham at the Marianne Reserve there that is going to be just spectacular. You can get tickets today at 10 o'clock. All the details though after 8:30. Sound off as well if you want to win a Care Alert Smart Dialer. You can use your home care package through My Age Care or NDIS for a Care Alert for free. Simply visit carealert.com.au. If you want to get something off your chest, sound off. Get calling right now and you can sound off for the Smart Dialer. It's coming up immediately after breaking at 8.
Well, you remember a couple of weeks ago we did a breaking at 8 about the emergence of this tomato virus. It's known as the tomato brown rugose fruit virus. It doesn't actually do anything dangerous to tomatoes. It just makes them look a little bit dodgy. Well, this is really disturbing because we can reveal that the biggest tomato producer, not just in South Australia but in the country, Perfection Fresh, which is out at Two Wells, they've been hit with a complete ban on the sale of tomatoes, not just interstate but even in South Australia.
Wow.
Now, this company employs more than 600 people. It has a turnover of $9 million a year. This is a huge operation. In fact, from memory, I reckon they might have been given a little bit of assistance by Jay when he was the Premier. Well, now it's actually the Malinowskis government, through FIVEAA, that is clobbering them with this punitive order that Perfection must not only destroy and bury plants, but also throw out perfectly good fruit which is unaffected by the virus. Now, the silliness of this is that the virus was caught and quickly contained in just one part of their operation. So they've totally isolated it. They're confident that they've even eliminated it. But now this company, I said they've got 600 staff. At their peak, when they're doing all the picking, they employ 1,200 people. So this is a huge operation. You got to listen to Matt's show this morning, because at 9:15, Matt's going to be joined by their chief executive, Michael Simonetta, who's saying that the controls are going to be a disaster for his company. And that's actually, those comments come from a letter that Frank Pangello has written to the Premier about this. Frank is also going to be on with Matt. But this is a huge threat. And I think at the very least, you know, as a community, I'd be more than happy to eat tomatoes that look a little bit dodgy, because the alternative is we're going to send a great South Australian business to the wall. They should let them sell in South Australia. That's the company saying, at the very least, please.
Well, because whatever it is already here.
Yeah. But it hasn't spread. It doesn't hurt anyone. It just makes the tomatoes look a bit dodgy. I mean, it's like the other day we were talking about slightly bent asparagus. I mean, who cares if it's bent?
Well, people... No, this is one right. This is people care. This is the problem. People, they shouldn't, but they do.
Or okay, if you're making a salad, perhaps... You know, if you're making like a, you know, mozzarella, basil and tomato salad, you want it to look nice. If you're actually cooking them, who cares?
That's right, but that's not how people shop, clearly. The available evidence is people shun weird-looking vegetables.
But more to the point, like, apart from the fruit that they caught, where the virus has been isolated, all their other fruit is totally fine.
Yeah.
So PIRS is erring massively on the side of caution, saying you've got to destroy all of it.
Like, it's a huge employer.
That would be one of the biggest employers in the state.
Yeah.
1,200 people at their peak. And, you know, the company, this is going to cost them, they reckon, $9 million a year, and is likely to send them broke with the loss of hundreds of jobs. It's a massive story.
And we keep wanting to bring more people in. Why?
Just getting a little bit frustrated ringing some of our larger organisations.
They're on a good wicket and I'm getting no justice for my dollars.
Sound off, sound off, sound off, sound off. Haters count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
If you'd like to sound off with the Care Alert Smart Dialer, get calling right now, 8223 This is $400 worth of peace of mind. Every family should have a Care Alert Smart Dialer, and most do, frankly. You might want the latest new whiz-bang device. Well, Mike and Darren Steele have got you sorted. Just call in and sound off, and you get it for free just by getting something off your chest that's driving you absolutely up the wall, like in that Hall of Fame montage of sound-offs of yesteryear. 8223 the number. Get calling. Sam and Lucy ready to take your call now. We'll sound off with the Smart Dialer very shortly.
One here. This is almost a sound-off in itself. Guys, my 24-year-old daughter is a first home buyer and just bought an investment property from my wife and I because we wanted to sell, but we didn't want to have to evict the tenant. However, she got no government discount with stamp duty, so we had to pay the full amount like anyone else. Stephen Mulligan only gives stamp duty relief to young ones who build, buy a new property. He just wants more properties to get built. He's not really interested in helping first home buyers to get a foot into the market. There's a breaking at 8. We haven't done it yet, but we've been sitting on it, about young people who are butting up against this arbitrary date for the new first home buyers relief, and we're going to get into that, because there's some people who are just purely through the vagaries of timing are missing out on up to $40,000 worth of relief.
When the impetus is, it's about maximising the number of people that get into the marketplace. That's the idea behind the scheme.
Exactly.
You know, there's no other cost imperative or control element. This is the idea you just need to get people into homes and get more homes being built in the process. Let's have a look at the fuel situation. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. I'll give you 3 places that are way cheaper than where I filled up last night. And I'm not bitter about it at all. Unleaded, slowly on the way down from $1.90. Would have been good to know last night. The Liberty Hampstead Road Clearview, $1.59.5. The Ex-Convenience Brighton Road North Brighton, $1.69.5. The Caltex Fullerton Road Rose Park, $1.58.9, which is terrific. I saw, following the Federal Reserve announcement overnight too, the oil barrel price went down, which is a sign of good prices to come. The cheapest diesel, the Ex-Convenience Main North Road Jeps Cross, is at $1.65.
So you managed to just with this 24-hour spike. That was the day you needed petrol.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. I went in last night. I thought, well, there's no giant global economic factor that's going to drive it down, is there? Yes, there was.
You need to subscribe to The Economist these days to work out when to fill up your car.
I'm going to sound off myself.
And we keep wanting to bring more people in. Why?
Just getting a little bit frustrated ringing some of our larger organisations.
They're on a good wicket and I'm getting no justice for my dollars.
Sound off.
All right, let's sound off in South Plympton this morning. It's where we find Sue. Good morning, dear Sue.
Good morning.
The airwaves are yours.
My urge is people who mispronunciate words. Our Prime Minister keeps saying important. There is no D in important. There is a T. And there was a couple of people on your show last week that pronounced it perfectly. And I thought, thank God somebody knows what they're doing. If you're going to speak publicly, as I do it, publicly, know how to pronounce words. Surely at school you learnt how to pronounce them.
I think it's a great sound-off, Sue. It's a great one.
I thought it was good, Sue, that Sue started off with a droll gag by saying mispronunciate.
It was very funny. So you got the Carolette Smart Dollar coming your way. Thanks to the great people at Carolette, Mike and Darren Steele there. The problem, I think, in Australia, perhaps even, I can't speak for other places. No, I suppose in the UK, there's a sort of pride about speaking with the accent from where that denotes the area you're from. But in Australia, there's almost this sort of snobbishness that goes with, well, if you round your vowels and you pronounce all your T's correctly, there's some sort of posh, there's a W word that goes.
The best local example of that is the former member for Mayo.
Yes.
Alexander Downer copped flack all his life for having the sort of fruity, la-di-da sort of private school rounded vowels. And I'm going to remember, I used to sit next to this excellent droll Queenslander called Craig Johnston when I was in the press gallery. And I remember one day, former member for Boothby, Andrew Southcott, got up and he had a nice sort of declaratory way of speaking. Andrew, he brought up well. And Mr. Speaker, my question, without notice, is to the Treasurer. And then Pine asked, because Pine was a backbencher, and he asked to Dorothy Dixon, like, Mr. Speaker, my question without notice is to the Foreign Minister. And then Downer gets up and goes, I thank the member for staying for his question. And Craig just looked at me and he goes, geez, mate, what's going on in SA? These blokes. Well, but you get these Queenslanders who get up, you can't even understand what they're saying.
Because the assertion, I think, in a lot of Australia is there's something effeminate about for blokes.
Yeah,
I think it's mainly a blokes issue. There's something effeminate about speaking.
Well, this is why I love Darcy Moore, because Darcy Moore is giving permission to footballers to do things like, actually research a speech and to put in a good quote and to learn another language. He speaks fluent Indonesian, and to be slightly effeminate and not care about it. That's good, because there's so many guys you hear, the boy's done good, and it's almost sort of de rigueur to talk like a total half-wit, lest anyone think you're actually a little bit more intelligent than you think you're obliged to sound as a man. So yeah, just let's all wimp up a bit, I say.
Good on you, Sue. All right, let's check traffic. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
Thanks, Will. At Windsor Gardens, a smash on Sutholtz Road near Darley Road. Works to look out for at Hope Valley, Reservoir Road near Grange Junction Road. Speeds at 40 Brunel Park, Torrens Road near South Road. And we're busy South Road at Tonsley as you get off the Southern Expressway heading towards the city. Cameras Dyson Road, Christie's Beach and Sheriff's Road at Lonsdale. Discover the MG ZST from just $25,990 drive away, backed by MG's 10-year warranty. Visit your local dealer today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
The coach, Ken Hinkley, this is the fourth prelim during his coaching tenure.
2014 versus the Hawks, the MCG.
Yeah, that was
2020 versus Richmond, lost by 6 points. Then it was the Dogs, smoked them at home by 71.
That was a stinker.
This is their fourth chance under Ken.
The 5AA Sports Show.
Fourth time lucky.
Let's hope so.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Thank you, South Australia. The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has sold out early again. You can be proud that you're having a life-changing impact right now on the health of all South Australians. Someone's about to win the $3.9 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize. Didn't get your ticket? Become a member today and never miss out again. homelottery.com.au. Licence in 14585.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zeek ZE 310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Now, you know that I love my local Mitre 10, or as the Cognoscenti call it, the other hardware store. I was only in there on Sunday, actually. It's my one-stop shop for all my jobs around the garden and everything else. They've always got everything you need. And look, the staff are great. They'll always give you advice on the best products to help you get all those jobs done.
So if you're planning some home improvements or have some fix-it jobs to do, or you just want to spruce things up a bit around the home or in the garden, head into your local Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
I bought 10 risers for my irrigation system, and I said to the girl behind the counter, there's 10 there, and she goes, no, there's 10. She said, that's 8. And she checked. So saved 20% through her honesty. How about that? That's Mitre 10 in a nutshell for you. For great prices on the right products for the job, along with helpful advice, choose the other hardware store, Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth a trip, and now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver, from the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare, with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth the trip. Steinborner.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after 8, if you're driving to Sydney to go to the prelim tomorrow night, today's the day that you are leaving on the 14-hour and 39-minute journey if you were to leave right here and now. One of the people that is leaving very soon is Clinton, who is on the line now. Clinton, good morning to you. What's the plan for the road trip?
Good morning, guys. Well, we're just going to try and get to, roughly halfway. Maybe take David's advice and stop in at Griffith and try some of those amazing pizzas he suggests.
Oh, mate, it's well worth the trip.
Yeah, I think any good pizza is well worth the trip, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you travelling with, Clinton? Who's in the car?
My daughter. So she's 20 years of age, and so the good thing is you can take some of the drive, which is great.
Did you?
That's excellent.
What point did you indoctrinate her into loving the Port Adelaide Football Club?
It's only been the last couple of years she's really got on the bandwagon, coming to the football with us, so which is great.
Oh, that's good, Clint. So you're going from the Barossa, so that makes it a little bit shorter too, I think.
Yeah, straight up the Sturt Highway. You knock off probably about 45 minutes from Adelaide, which is great.
Have you done the drive before to Sydney?
Yeah, I've done it. This will be, I think, the fourth time. So.
Yeah, right. And where are you going to stay in Sydney? Have you got that sorted out? You're going to try to camp on the side of Parramatta Road, I hope.
Oh yeah, why not chuck the flag out, eh?
How'd you go getting tickets for the prelim, Clinton? Did you have any issues getting tickets?
No, I was straight online. The game before, I had a bit of trouble. So the last couple of games it was a bit funny, but this one was fine. Straight in.
If this is successful, this Friday night venture, is there a road trip to Melbourne the following week?
Unfortunately not. My wife was smart enough and went and booked tickets to go see friends back in Sydney that weekend, so I had to decide not to.
Mate.
I was happy, I'll tell you.
Well, you're making the most of it at least. Get to the prelim.
No, that's it.
And if you win, I suspect those inconveniences the following week won't feel like that.
I got road trip envy now.
Good to chat
on
with
a
you,
road
Clinton.
trip. Listen to Clint.
There'll be lots of listeners that are setting off today as well. Those that are driving to avoid the airfares. We wanted to give you a little bit of a sort of a travel log, bit of a travel guide of where you can go. Ali McLean from Hay is the Economic Development and Tourism boss at the Hay Shire Council. Ali, good morning to you.
Hey Dave, how are you?
Now, Ali, here's the thing. I've been told reliably that you're a Hawthorn fan. So how do you feel about having all these Port people coming into your town just a week after ending your team's season?
Well, I'm torn, obviously. And we can't wait to welcome everyone. I mean, Hay's obviously the best place to stop on your way to Sydney. It's halfway. It's a little oasis in the middle of nowhere, and we're very welcoming. We're excited to see them. But by the same token, I'll be devastated to see those Port jumpers walking around.
What's the number one thing that Port supporters travelling should do in Hay, Ali, before they move on?
Oh, if they're staying overnight, we've got the most incredible sunsets. I think for anyone who's done that trip, they'll know that Hay is actually the flattest place in the southern hemisphere. So it's a pretty unique landscape that you're going to be travelling across. But also, if you want to stretch your legs, we've got free bikes here at the visitor centre, so they're more than welcome to jump on and go for a quick spin around a very flat town. And, of course, our amazing river is a beautiful spot to sit, have a quick coffee, and soak up the nature that we have here. And we've got some great museums too. People want to get a little bit of culture, either on the way up or on the way back, because we'll welcome you both ways.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ali. Glenn McGrath, is he from Hay, or was he got some connection to Hay?
No, Narromine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Who's the most famous person that hails from Hay, Ali?
Oh gosh,
might be you.
Yeah, well, could be now that I've been on Adelaide radio.
Hey, is your river alley the Murrumbidgee?
It is the Murrumbidgee, and we actually have the most beautiful white sandy beach here, which people probably don't expect, but it is a really beautiful spot. And I know that journey to Adelaide well. It can be a little bit monotonous as you're coming across the plains, but stop and enjoy a meal here at one of our pubs or clubs. You know, jump and get a coffee. Come and see us at the visitor centre, and we can show you everything that you need to see, because we really love... Adelaide is actually our biggest market in terms of tourism. We love seeing you guys come through. You're really important to us, not just from an economic point of view, but we love seeing new people in town. You know, we live in a town where we pretty much know everyone, so it's always good to say.
Hey, have you ever been to the Carrathal Cup, Ali?
Carrathal races?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been going for 20 years, yeah.
I had one of the biggest days of my life at the Carrathal Cup. I was dead set. I had no idea what was happening by the end of the day. It was just insane.
I might have been with you.
We might have met. Hang on a minute.
We might have met.
How awkward.
I think we might need to take this offline.
You know, what happens in Hay stays in Hay.
That's right.
Ali, lovely to chat with you. You're about to have an influx of Port supporters on the way there and on the way back. And all the best for next year. I reckon your Hawks are going to be okay.
Yeah, I think Sam Mitchell's got a cunning plan. But I should also declare we're a bit of a split family. So we're also Swanee supporters, some of us. So I want to say good luck, but actually I don't mean it.
No, you're putting your town out there to be accommodating for people, and that's gesture enough, Ali. Great to chat with you. Ali McLean, the Economic Development and Tourism Hay Shire Council.
Just to round it out too, here's probably the three most famous people born in Hay. Tom Hafey was born in Hay.
Wow.
Athol Guy from the Seekers.
Yep.
And Doug Anthony, as in the former Deputy PM, not
the All-Stars.
Not the All-Stars. He was also born in Hay.
There you go. 5AA News time. In a moment, we're going to be chatting with Ivor Davies from Ice House, who's going to be at a regional South Australian town headlining what sounds like a magnificent concert that you can buy tickets to in 90 minutes' time. That's next.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower 2 and 16 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Foreign Minister Penny Wong has again expressed concern for Australians in Lebanon after the second deadly hardware attack this week. At least 20 people have been killed and more than 400 injured after walkie-talkies exploded. It follows deadly pager explosions on Tuesday. Senator Wong has told Sky Television Australians should leave if they can.
To Australians in Lebanon, this reflects the concern we've had for some time about the potential for regional escalation. You would have heard me saying, if you are in Lebanon, leave now. We are concerned about wider escalation, and we would continue to urge all parties to avert a regional escalation.
A man's been arrested after a stabbing at Crystalbrook last night. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says they were called to Giles Street about 8 p.m.
When police arrived, they located a 47-year-old man who'd been stabbed several times. He was airlifted to Adelaide, where he remains in a critical condition. And swiftly, a 53-year-old man was arrested without incident. He's now been charged with attempt murder, and he's going to appear in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court today.
A man's been arrested after breaking into a business at Dry Creek this morning. An alarm was activated at the premises on Magazine Road just before 1 a.m. Police caught one man outside, but a second ran off. The 48-year-old from Andrews Farm has been charged with serious criminal trespass and theft. He'll face court today. There's been a jump in online job vacancies in South Australia. SA recorded the second highest increase in online job positions for August, up 6.9%. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says there are more than 21,000 jobs available in the state.
And it's a good sign that even though the nation's economy is slowing, there is still a huge amount of life left in our state's economy as businesses are looking to expand their operations and employ more South Australians.
Rapper Sean Diddy Combs has been denied bail for a second time on charges of trafficking and racketeering. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
54-year-old Sean Combs will remain in custody pending trial after Judge Andrew Carter in a New York courtroom sided with prosecutors that the rapper was a danger to the community and a danger to obstructing justice and intimidating witnesses. The music mogul faces charges including sex trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution and racketeering conspiracy. His lawyer said he will fight the charges and he's not guilty. If convicted, Sean Combs could face up to 20 years in a federal prison.
About a third of all food in Australia is being wasted due to confusion about use-by dates and storage advice. A report from RMIT University suggests clearer, consistent and easy-to-read information is needed to address the issue. Associate Professor Lucas Parker says the numbers are concerning.
7.6 million tonnes of food is lost and wasted every year, which works out to about 300 kilos per person in the country every year. You know, that could be going to feed people, and also when we're throwing out food, it's wasting money and it's bad for the environment.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will head to Sydney later this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's preliminary final against the Swans. Forward Charlie Dixon is likely to return to the side, while defender Ryan Burton is also a chance to come back. To cricket, and spinner Adam Zampa is preparing to play his 100th one-day international for Australia. He'll be a key figure against England in tonight's series opener at Trent Bridge. The 32-year-old, who's taken 169 wickets, says he has no plans for retirement.
While I'm enjoying playing for Australia, while I feel like I'm bowling good enough and want to improve, then yeah, I'll just continue to roll through. I really love playing for this group. Yeah, while I'm enjoying it, there's no reason to think about an end date, I don't think.
Meantime, Australia's women will take on New Zealand in a T20 clash a little later today in Mackay. Let's go to soccer. Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham has survived major embarrassment, coming from behind to beat Coventry City in the third round of the League Cup. Spurs were 1-0 down before equalising in the 88th minute, and there was more drama to follow as they found a winner only 4 minutes later.
It's Brennan Johnson to win it for Tottenham Hotspur. They've been second best for most of the night. But Brennan Johnson, who's had his critics recently, has answered them in the best possible manner.
There was a nice finish too. Meantime, in the European Champions League, Manchester City has been held to a 0-0 draw against Inter Milan. Celtic had a 5-1 win. Tennis veteran Marin Cilic has recorded his first win on the ATP Tour since January last year, the 35-year-old returning from a knee injury. And two-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning has been nominated for the American Football Hall of Fame. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
At Windsor Gardens, a smash in St Holmes Road near Darley Road. Seacombe Heights, urgent electrical works on Seacombe Road near the Morford Road roundabout. Slow for works at Jebbs Cross, Grand Junction Road near Devon Street, and busy at Unley at the moment, Green Hill Road near Unley Road. Cameras this morning, Elizabeth Road, Morford Vale, and the Southern Expressway at Lonsdale. Check out Foodland's late week specials, like a 125-gram punnet of delicious Aussie blueberries for just $2.80. Hurry, offer ends tomorrow at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower at 2 and 16 today. Tomorrow, more showers, 17. Saturday, showers again, 17. Sunday, a shower or 2, 18. Currently, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hey there. Is your car's next service coming up? Book your next service at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. We're famous for our next day servicing. We do complimentary loan vehicles, free car wash and vacuum, or if it's an express service, you can hang out and enjoy Wi-Fi, coffee and snacks. If you need to stay connected and smash out some work, we have a business centre too. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. For next day servicing, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Join Gliderol in celebrating the Colorbond Steal the Show promotion. By purchasing a roller door or sectional door made from Colorbond steel from Gliderol, now or within the last 12 months, you could win $100,000. Visit gliderol.com.au today for a free measure and quote. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply. See colorbond.com/steal the show, 18 plus only. Strict purchase and eligibility criteria apply. Ends 30/11/24.
Are you an event space like a wedding venue, sports club or restaurant? Well, if so, you're probably well acquainted with plastic trestle tables. You know, the ones, they don't line up properly and then you push them together and they don't quite fit. They've got bung legs and slanting tabletops and they take your event space from a 10 to 7.5.
Well, let us be the bearers of good news, because Scott's Custom Furniture crafts sturdy, stable and level trestle tables made from beautiful Australian timber. In fact, they're so nice that covering them with a tablecloth even feels wrong.
So if you're after trestle tables that'll last a lifetime, search for Scott's Custom Furniture and get in touch today.
Dreaming of renovating or building? Then come and see us at the Building Ideas Centre. The Building Ideas Centre is a new massive showroom packed with all the latest designs and products to bring your dreams to life. We offer an impressive mix of renovation essentials. We're talking kitchens, bathrooms, heating and cooling, tiles and so much more. From modest budgets to grand designs, we've got you covered. Let us help you bring your dreams to life at the Building Ideas Centre, 279 Growth Street in the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Well, tickets go on sale this morning at 10 o'clock to what sounds like not just a spectacular but once-in-a-lifetime musical opportunity. Have a listen to this. Marianne Reserve in Mannum is going to be the scene for Sounds by the River 2025 with a lineup featuring Noiseworks, Wolfmother, Eskimo Joe, Baby Animals, Killing Heidi and Bachelor Girl, headlined by Icehouse. Ivor Davies joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Ivor, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
So, Ivor, I've got to say, we, with a heavy heart, over the last few months, we've spent quite a lot of time on our show chronicling what almost looks like the death of the Rock Festival. We had the sad news that a much-loved local one that had been a great success, Harvest Rocks, that's not going ahead. Splendour in the Grass, Blues Fest. So good to see you guys bucking the trend with this one, with such a great lineup too.
an amazing lineup, and thanks to the people who put all this together, because that's an incredible list of names and an amazing day. These people are absolute legends, so can't wait, really.
Well, I think too, there's going to be a really big appetite for it, and like the lineup is great. With you guys headlining, it's going to be sensational. But there's feels like there's still post-COVID. There's a huge clamour for live music, and for whatever reason, some of these other festivals have been struggling. Probably the cost of living, but this sounds like it's going to get big support, I reckon.
The festivals that, kind of you camp over a number of days sort of festivals seem to be taking it hardest, and that's what appealed to me about having, incredible sort of one-day event like this with bands like, a lineup of bands like that sort of packed in, really. So, just one thing, one legendary act after another, but it's a one-day event. So that's the difference. And somebody had that discussion with me quite recently, and it all kind of made sense to me. I went, okay, that figures, I guess.
Now, mate, I'm going to do a bit of fanboying here. A couple of years ago, I bought the vinyl re-release of Icehouse as well, when you were then Flowers' first album, Icehouse, and then there was the name change. That record, like people always say to big name musos like you, how do you keep the songs fresh? When I put that record on, it sounded like a record that came out yesterday to me.
Look, that's great to hear, because there are things in my collection that I sort of, I feel the same way about, and they're timeless for me, and even going, way back to the Beatles and so on. It's just, you kind of look at the catalogue and the songs that they recorded, and you go, just how did you do that back then? And when you know a bit about the technology and the limitations of the technology that they had, and you look at what we've got today, and I sort of scratch my head and go, surely that was not possible, but it was, and they remain, as you say, as fresh as when they were recorded.
Yeah. And do you ever feel a bit sort of, probably a bit like Gangajang with Sounds of Then? Great Southern Land, that sort of almost took on a life of its own as a song that almost overshadowed everything else you've done, didn't it?
Well, yes and no. It was a bizarre thing, because for many years, I was absolutely convinced that a song called Electric Blue, which was the only number one song that we ever had, would be the sort of defining moment for us. And then something very strange happened. We were invited by the City of Sydney to create out of Great Southern Land a 25-minute kind of orchestral extravaganza piece for the last 25 minutes of the millennium, leading up to the countdown on Sydney Harbour. And I think something like 3 or 4 billion people were watching that performance on the forecourt of the Opera House with the Sydney Symphony Orchestra and me. And from that moment on, suddenly Great Southern Land was remembered. It was bizarre. It was a complete turnaround, and I thought, that's kind of strange, but it's remained that way ever since, obviously.
And now you got a Qantas plane named after it.
Indeed, that is true. The very first Dreamliner, in fact, we went over to pick it up from Seattle and flew back on it, and it was amazing. We played Great Southern Land actually on the stairs when we'd landed in Sydney.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Hey, can I ask you, Ivor, have you ever played at Mannum before? Have you even been to Mannum on the Murray?
Now, I just had a little bit of a look at the map, because I hadn't been there before. And, the Murray River is sort of in my heritage, I guess, because my mother grew up in a little tiny place called Mathaura, which is, I guess, the nearest biggest town would be Echuca, so a bit further east.
Yeah, right.
But nonetheless, my father met my mother when he was camped in a forest down there working as a forester. So, this will be interesting for me, because it's kind of getting back to that same sort of heritage history. There's a lot of people generations on my side who were, in fact, orchardists and farmers.
Yeah, right.
And so you're very much looking. I mean, one of the great opportunities that we have, because we're playing is to go and play and see amazing places. So, you know, we've played in front of Uluru, you know, it's just, and that was an incredible experience, as you can imagine. But all sorts of interesting places. So, my partner comes with me, and we get to be tourists, which is fantastic.
My wife grew up in Manham. She went to school there, and her dad, her late father, ran the town supermarket. But we're so excited about heading along because, and particularly the idea of it was probably going to be stinking hot, you know, January night here in SA. The idea of you guys playing with the Murray in the background in Manham is going to be, for us as South Aussies, like what you just said about Uluru, I reckon it'll be hair on the back of the neck stuff, Ivor, and we're thrilled that you're coming. And as we said, the tickets are on sale today. You'll love Manham. It's a beautiful spot.
Mate,
you've got to buy a thing the day after the gig, particularly if you're feeling a bit dusty. They sell a thing called a savoury slice at the bakery. You've got to get one.
Right, okay, that'll fix everything, right?
Yeah. It's sort of like mincemeat. It's like a deconstructed meat pie. It's pretty confronting. It's got cheese on top of it. You'll love it.
It's a bit too early in the day for that sort of thing for me.
Good on you, Ivor. Ivor Davies there from Icehouse, ahead of the Sounds by the River 2025. What a great lineup. Thanks for joining us.
That's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Nice text from John from Melbourne on the Dutton's text line. Dutton's car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Dutton's easy to do business with. Says, nice interview, boys, with Ivor. That First Flowers Icehouse album is the best. Bet you didn't know that Electric Blue was based on a porno film.
I had no idea.
I'm not familiar with that little tidbit of
Was
information.
it really?
Thank you for that, John.
Do you reckon Ivor is going to get a savoury slice, though, from the Manham Bakery?
I reckon he will.
He might be vegetarian or something. He sounded a bit taken aback by that, didn't he?
Well, it's a confronting concept.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just because it's like the pastry rectangle in a big baking tray, and then the mince all over it.
Yeah, well, I think it's better. It's hard. It described is a little bit more confronting.
There's a big dispute between Murray Bridge and Manham as to who invented the savoury slice.
We
Murray
can do
Bridge
both.
people get quite defensive and say, no. Because there's that great bakery in Murray Bridge. They even sell savoury slice key rings.
Yeah, once you've started the merch, you lay real claim to the origins.
Manham says it's theirs.
Okay. Or maybe Ivor Davies can sort it out for us and we can speak to him about it.
Fight it out on the text line, folks. Manham listeners, Murray Bridge listeners, who invented the savoury slice?
You can text us on the Dutton's text line. You can also communicate via the Foodland Supermarket's Facebook and YouTube live stream. And if you're on it, you're going to very soon see an envelope enter the room. On it, or in it, contains a scrap of paper with clue number 4 in our AFL Grand Final ticket competition. That's coming up on the other side of this break. So charge your phones, have 8223 plugged in, but don't press it yet. Just wait. Robin, you're calling already, Robin. I said wait.
Wait, steady.
Hold.
When are they going to get rid of that hold nonsense? Don't you think it's really annoying?
What's that?
Well, that stand thing in footy.
Oh, stand. Yeah, it is. Just turn off the mics. I don't care what the umpire says.
No, exactly.
Anyway, we're going to give away tickets to the Grand Final potentially next. Traffic first, though. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
At Windsor Gardens, a smash on Sutholmes Road near Darley Road. Seacombe Heights, urgent electrical works on Seacombe Road near the Morford Road roundabout. Slow for works at Prospects, Main North Road near Penn Place, and getting busy at South Plimpton at the moment. Cross Road near Marion Road, speeds in at 25. Camera Sheriff's Road, Lonsdale, and War Memorial Drive in North Adelaide. Power up Android on Telstra. Supercharge your creativity with Google AI on Android with Australia's best mobile network. Search Telstra Android deals. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
The Toolkit Depot Parafield Plumbing Day is happening today. It's your chance to check out the latest plumbing tools and accessories from all the top trade plumbing brands.
And that includes brands like Milwaukee, Rigid, Plumboss, Husqvarna, Irwin and many more.
During the day, Toolkit Depot Parafield will have exclusive plumbing deals along with hands-on product demos, giveaways, and they're firing up the barbie for a free feed while you're there.
It sounds like the perfect plumber's day out, so don't miss it. The Toolkit Depot Plumbing Day, all day today, only at Toolkit Depot Parafield, corner of Main North Road and Kesters Road, Parafield.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
I'm high!
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home, with meals from just $12, like soup from $12 with garlic bread, half beef or chicken schnitzels $16, sweet and sour pork with rice $16, bangers and mash $18, 1 or 2 piece fish and chips from $16, and 250 gram porterhouse $22. Gotta love the Excelsior Hotel lunchtime menu. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a Bro Hotel.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Right on 8 minutes to 9, Matt Pantelis not too far away. We still have a clue to give away, though, for our AFL Grand Final ticket competition.
Yeah, we raised 4 corners of the globe for the Holy Grail.
You won't be stopping in Hay if you win this competition. You'll be flying over the top of it. We got flights for you, accommodations all sorted, and of course 2 tickets to the AFL Grand Final in the exclusive September Club. You'll be in the exclusive September Club at the MCG. AFL authorised GF promotion, GFAFL 24/156. Now, as we say, the clues will guide you towards the oval at which we are hiding the grand final tickets. You need to determine what it is. It gets whittled away each and every day. But if you miss a clue, go and get the 5AA Breakfast podcast and have a listen back, and you'll be able to piece them all together. Don't be the person who finally gets through and
you've only got that day's clue
says
or
something
3
that was
clues
obviously ruled out previously.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Don't ring in and say MCG, for example, because there have already been clues that would tell you it's not the MCG.
Maracana.
Don't say it's Maracana.
No.
We definitely
Estadio Azteca.
That's right. Today's clue, and you can get calling now on 8223 0055. Today's clue: cricketers like to hang around here in summer. Cricketers like to hang around here in summer. So presumably it's an oval that has and plays some cricket there.
Because there's quite a few that don't.
There's plenty that don't now.
A lot of the SANFL ones don't.
Because a lot of them, the modern sort of, the modern woke way of running an oval is you don't have a cricket pitch in the middle that's carved out because it's too...
Is that woke?
Yeah, it's too rough on the knees and, it's weak.
When they redid Unley, they got rid of cricket there.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
What
about.
are you saying?
That's what I'm talking about,
What are you saying,
David.
Stuart's woke, are you?
Yeah, I am.
You haven't met most of their fans. Or office bearers.
So
you're listening, Joe.
That's an interesting clue. Whittles out a few where they've got rid of cricket pitches and they don't do cricket anymore. The first caller through this morning is from Queenstown. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
Good, thanks, Daniel. Have you been paying attention all week, mate?
Yes, I have. I've been paying attention to all the clues, so yeah, it really could be anything, but I'll give it my best shot.
Are you a Port fan, Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Down part of that part of the world.
Queenstown. You get
Hard
kicked
not
out
to be.
Get kicked out of Queenstown if you're not a Port fan, don't you, mate?
Yeah, it's a great place. Very convenient. Close to Alberton, that's all you can ask for.
Do you actually know anyone in Queenstown who barracks for the Crows?
Well, I don't know anyone particularly, but I have seen, very few Crow supporters around.
Not welcome in Queenstown.
Yeah, dangerous, very dangerous territory there. You wouldn't want to walk with a crow scarf.
No, I wouldn't have thought. All right, Daniel of Queenstown. Step us through your thinking.
So I remember yesterday's hint was, if I'm correct, yellow.
Yeah.
Which I think cancelled out a lot of options. And it's in metropolitan area. You also said it's 55 something years old. So yeah, I had to look at all the clubs that have the yellow on them, and I think you also said that there's a scoreboard on the eastern side. So yeah, there's a lot of options, but I had 3 in mind, but I'm gonna go for this one because yeah, I'm not too sure. But
this sounds very scientific,
yeah,
Daniel.
you put a lot of work
this
in
is
on
very
that.
exciting.
yeah, no, I was like thinking about it because it's so hard. But yeah, my final answer is Modbury Oval.
Modbury Oval. Are they the Jets there at Modbury? Is that the club there? Someone
I
from
think
Modbury.
the Hawks.
Hawks, are they?
The Hawks. It's a good guess. Thoughtful guess.
I don't know if it's a cricket pitch though, so that could be the let-off.
I'm afraid
mate.
it's not Modbury.
I'll tell you what, though, mate.
Daniel,
give yourself. I
wonder if
take a bow for the effort that you put into it.
Remember your other 2 options. I wonder if it's the other 2 that Daniel is thinking of. So it's not Modbury Oval.
He's right. It's the Hawks.
Modbury Hawks.
The Modbury Hawks. Not sure about the cricket part of it. Do they play cricket, their team?
I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure. But the rest of everything he stepped through sounded imminently plausible. One of 3 options. I wonder if someone will guess one of his other 2 tomorrow. And I wonder if tomorrow's clue will rule it out or others.
Goodings knows.
Oh, that's intriguing. Okay, so clue number 5 tomorrow, which is what? A week out from Grand Final Eve.
They've got a cricket club too, the Modbury Cricket Club. Welcome to the Modbury Cricket Club. It says here that they play at the Oval. So, you know.
Yep.
But the more clues, the
We
narrower
love a good
it
smart
gets.
guess. Love a smart, informed guess.
Yeah.
Not just a wild, throw at the dartboard. Sorry, Daniel. Unfortunately, that's not correct. So clue number 5 is coming up tomorrow. We are out of time. Big thanks to everyone who called and texted into the program over the course of the morning. Stick around for Matt Pantelis. We'll be back tomorrow from 6 with clue number 5.
Coming up on 5